Football. We love it. Hello and welcome to the Top Corner live for the Europa League, and it's day number 1. The competition is back. We've got 26 fixtures over 19 days. This is where things really do start to kick in. We've got two interesting fixtures, you could say, tonight. Not the most elite fixtures in the world in terms of teams and calibers of players, but two fixtures that could have plenty of goals in them. And of course, these are the starting points of the Europa League campaign. We've got Shakhtar and Wolfsburg, and we've got Copenhagen versus Istanbul. Because there's two games tonight. There's two of us in the building. There's myself, and then there's Kieran Lola. Let's go. How are we doing?
We got the real fixtures. None of that nice stuff at 8 p.m. No. We get the nitty-gritty football at 5:55, and that's what really matters.
We absolutely love it indeed. It's going to be, well, hopefully it's going to be some good games coming up. So kickoff is in just about 10 minutes time, a little bit less than that. We're going to have a look at the lineups in a second, get ready for these games, of course, run through a couple of the other games that are going on as well across the next coming weeks, across not just the Europa League, but the Champions League as well, which we'll do that in a very short moment's time. But of course, I think it's probably worth having a quick, gander at the lineups for what's to come up. So I'm going to take it off the screen very, very quickly and have a look at the actual lineups themselves. So my Twitter will show up. There we go. So we'll actually look here first at the Shakhtar-Wolfsburg game. Of course, as you can see right now, Shakhtar 2-1 up on aggregate in this game at home in Ukraine because these fixtures are played at home. They're going for a 4-2-3-1 today. Junior Moraes up top, scored in the previous game against Wolfsburg. They've got some strong plays in there. Tyson, Marlos, just to name a few of the very well-known Brazilians in football. And then we've also got Wolfsburg as well. As I said, they're 2-1 down right now. Got a lot of work to do, but an away goal could be very crucial in this game. 3-4-3. Now, it's an interesting lineup today. Three at the back, we've got Brooks, Pongrasic, and Tisserand. We've got Bracalo and Roussillon. Now, Bracalo, of course, more known for being a winger. Roussillon more known as a fullback, which is why I find it very interesting with the two kind of overlapping wingers on the left and the right-hand side. Schlager and Maximilian Arnold in the midfield. And then up top, front three, they've got Ginczek on the right-hand side, Weghorst through the middle, and João Victor on the left-hand side. Going to be a good game of football. Just give you an eye on the bench as well. A couple of other players on there for each of the sides. Fernando, striker, Maikon Kovalenko, the Ukrainian. And as for Wolfsburg, they've got the powerhouse midfielder in Joshua Guilavogui on the bench. We might see him come on today. Gerhardt as well. And then a couple of youngsters too in their lineup. So that game is Shakhtar versus Wolfsburg. And then we've got the game that Kieran's going to watch today, which is FC Copenhagen versus Istanbul.
There was a reason that we all got to select our games this week. Usually we do the wheel, and you'd think, oh, Kieran must have been unlucky with his wheel. No, I selected this game specifically to see former Hull City legend Damon Doy, to find out he's been released, so he's not even going to be on the pitch. But, I mean, a few people won't really recognise any of these players in the Copenhagen lineup. You may look at people like Rasmus Falk, who's quite well known. Andreas Bjelland had a bit of time, was it at Brentford? Bjelland?
He did indeed.
Yeah, and then you look at Guilherme Varela, former Man United player at right back, and Zeka is really the pivot of their midfield, the Greek international there. And for Basaksehir, more star men for like Aaron Vishka, who's been, I'm surprised he's not moved away from Istanbul just yet, but I think that might be coming sooner rather than later. And obviously for fans of the Premier League, pick your old golden oldies. You've got Demba Ba, Gail Clichy, Martin Skirtle. Take your pick of who's the best out of them lot. It's up to you. And then
it's
also,
good to see it. All the old Premier League players that have, of course, they've won the Turkish League as well, not too long ago.
Yeah, you think they couldn't cut it for the likes of Chelsea and Liverpool. They can cut it in the Europa League for Istanbul. I mean, the class is different, but we won't go into it. And then, obviously, on the bench, you'll recognise another name for Copenhagen, and that'll be one, Mohamed Daramy, elite FIFA player by the sounds of it, and two, Sunderland former left-back Brian Oviedo, who went from League One to Europa League within a year, which is pretty incredible. And then on the bench for Basaksehir, you might recognise Elahiro Elia. Speaking of Sunderland legends, he's another one. And not really many, but we should see Gökhan Inler as well. So a bit of experience in that midfield for Basaksehir. Should be fun.
For you, if there's one player you won't want to come on today, it's a certain player on the bench, Sotratitos Papagiannopoulos, on the bench today. It's a mouthful indeed. So if he does come on, you're going to have quite a challenge on your hands.
The thing is, I've had to take notes of numbers because usually, like when you don't know a team, you just kind of go in. I've got no idea who's crossed it in. I've got no idea who's finished it, but I'll figure it out due to numbers. So good luck if Papagian. I hope he's a replacement goalkeeper, to be honest. I really do.
Oh, God, such a mouthful indeed. Marcos says hello. Welcome to the stream, Marcos Chamorro Tejo. Welcome. Reasons to the stream as well. He says, long time no speak, lads. How we been? I'm not too bad.
Yeah, it's been all right. I think the weird thing was I was talking to Rowan yesterday and we went through that spell of so much football. And my life feels really absent for even though it's been like only a week without it. It feels like there should be a game every minute of every day. But we're back to it now.
And this is the good thing. It's all of the big games that we're getting. I mean, as I said, not necessarily speaking today are the biggest games in the world. These do kick off in just 4 minutes' time, so get ready. We're going to keep you up to date with all of those. But we've got plenty more fixtures to come. Of course, it pretty much is a festival of football over the next few weeks. So as you can see on your screen, of course, these are the fixtures for the upcoming 2 days. So tonight, 5:55, we've got our games. Right after us, we might still be on air, of course, depending on extra time or penalties if we do see that. But either way, at 8 p.m, we will be back. Not specifically us speaking. We'll have Rowan and Kieran D at 8 p.m. UK time covering Man United and Last Lins. And then a single-legged game between Inter Milan and Getafe. That's going to be a good one. And then tomorrow, 6th of August, I believe it's me and Rowan at 5:55 tomorrow. I've got Bayer Leverkusen and Rangers. I think Rowan's got Sevilla and Roma. That's 5:55. And then 8 p.m. UK time, it's going to be both the Kierans together, I believe. FC Basel and Frankfurt. Basel currently 3-0 up in that fixture. Could potentially go on to beat the German team, which I think would be a big surprise for a lot of people. And then Wolves and Olympiacos. Could Olympiacos knock out the second English side in a row in the knockout stages? That's 8 p.m. UK time tomorrow. It's not just Europa League as well, because the Champions League is back. Not yet, though. A couple more days to wait for that one. As you can see, we're going to be live on the 7th of August. Juventus take on Olympique Lyonnais. Lyonnais currently 1-0 up against Juventus. Can they hold on? That's going to be 8 p.m. UK time. And also at the same time, we're going to be covering Manchester City versus Real Madrid. What a game of football that one's going to be. 8th of August, we've got the other 2 round of 16 games. We've got Bayern and Chelsea. Bayern 3-0 up right now. Could Chelsea do the unthinkable at the Allianz? That's 8th of August. And then the other game on the side as well, Barcelona 1, Napoli 1 on our aggregate right now. Can Barcelona do it, or will Napoli do what Roma did to them a couple of years ago, this time away from home? And then as you can see on the bottom, the quarterfinals as well on the 12th and 15th of August. We're covering every game from the Europa League and the Champions League. The festival of football really kicks on. As they said on the BT advert of Club 2020, Euros might have been cancelled, but we're going to take this over anything, aren't we?
It's the best of a bad situation. I mean, it was 2 months where we had nothing, so it's about time that we get to see absolutely everything all at once. So we finally get to finish these elite European competitions that, for teams like Copenhagen and Basaksehir, their league's okay, but these are the nights that they dream of playing in against elite European competition. And for any of these teams tonight, they get a big game against Manchester United, which I'm sure will be a great earner for that team.
Absolutely, indeed. It's going to be very, very interesting in terms of the aggregate scores right now for these games. If you're not aware, as I said before, Shakhtar against Wolfsburg, 2-1 on aggregate to Shakhtar. Played really well in their game in Germany. They've got the advantage right now. Good chance for them potentially to go through. They've scored 7 goals in the knockout stages already. You might remember they played Benfica in the previous round. Their second leg ended 3-3. It was probably one of the best knockout games there's been in the tournament, of course. They dropped down from the Champions League. As for Wolfsburg, they've been in the competition since the start. Could we see plenty of goals tonight? As for Copenhagen and Istanbul Basaksehir, it's not 0-0 on aggregate. It is actually 1-0 on aggregate to Istanbul Basaksehir. Edivishka scored a late penalty in the previous game in Turkey, which is the second time he scored a late goal in the knockout stages, because in the previous one they played against Sporting, it was the 119th minute when he went on to score to make it 5-4 to Istanbul Basaksehir. So would you like that again? Maybe a few more goals in that one would be pretty nice. Spice it up a little.
Yeah, I mean, if you look on paper, these two teams shouldn't have really made it here, because Copenhagen, when you put them against Celtic, you'd have backed Celtic all the way. And Istanbul against Sporting, yes, Sporting lost Bruno Fernandes, but you'd back them all the way to knock them out, and they didn't. So hopefully these two, what I'm expecting, if I'm being 100% honest, I'd love goals, but I'm expecting like a really tight affair with very cagey, because Istanbul don't exactly need to score. So I think we may see, I've got a feeling we might see 1-0 and a bit of extra time.
Do you think?
Maybe, yeah, that's what I'm leaning to. I mean, without Damendor, you're always going to struggle to score. That's just facts of life. So we'll see how that goes.
It's a very, very tight game on paper. I think when you look at the sides, even though we do remember some of the old favourites, you could say, of the yesteryear, they're not as good as what they used to be. Demba Ba, always remembered for his incredible goals back in his time at the likes of Newcastle and Chelsea. He's a very, very different player now. He's not got the same skills and flair, you could say, and pace, for example, as what he had back in the day. But as I said, they quite recently won the Turkish Championship. First time they've done that, I believe, for a long time, if not in their history, as far as I'm aware. So a lot of these old players might be up for the challenge here, because as you said before, a game against Manchester United is one to certainly look out for, I think.
Yeah, I don't think they'll fancy their chances, but they'll also go there in these weird situations. It's a single leg. It's one game. It's not as if, we've seen it with the likes of, we'll watch a game tomorrow, but Basel, are 3-0 up against Frankfurt, but I still believe Frankfurt can still get back because there's another leg. Whereas if you just go out and put one incredible performance in against a team like Man United, I'm not saying it's possible, but that's dreamland, that is.
Absolutely. And then the other game, of course, Shakhtar and Wolfsburg. I think that's very, very even on paper right now. Wolfsburg, of course, they've had a couple of weeks off from the Bundesliga break. They finished in 9th place, which isn't necessarily the greatest finish for a club like Wolfsburg. They'd have been hoping to try and get that Europa League spot. But as for Shakhtar, it's what we expect every year, always towards the top end of the table. Always in the Champions League, which, of course, as I said before, got knocked out in the Champions League. They were in the group with Manchester City and Atalanta, who are both in the knockout stages. So it was quite a tough ask for them to make it there. But it's going to be a very, very good game of football, I think. And as far as I'm aware, the Shakhtar and the Wolfsburg team are out on the pitch. We're about to kick off in just a moment's time. It was supposed to kick off at 5:55, I think. So we are a little bit late on time, but not a problem.
Yeah, we are, because we've just done I think it was like a minute applause or a minute silence. I'm not sure which they chose to do for key workers, but so that's what they've done now. And we should be, I was going to say, they are a bit late.
Yeah, I thought that. It might be because the minute silences and things like that. But hopefully the game should be underway in just a moment's time. It's very interesting, of course, no fans in the stadium because of all the coronavirus situation, which is a real shame for fans because, they'd love to be there at this stage. It's lovely weather where all the games are being played just because of what it is now. It's summer, isn't it, pretty much for most places.
Yeah.
But we're off in the Shakhtar Wolfsburg game.
We have kicked off here as well in Copenhagen. The weird thing about these single leg ties as well is that the home advantage, this will be the final time a team will have home advantage throughout the rest of the tournament, unless you're a team from Germany, which bonus. But like, for example, Copenhagen, Basaksehir or Shakhtar or Wolfsburg, not Wolfsburg, but they'll be going to like a neutral venue after this.
And that's the thing. This is where you need to make the most of it right now because this is the last real opportunity at your stadium. As you said before, of course, if Wolfsburg were to get through, it's kind of perfect for them. They've played in a lot of the German stadiums anyway, so they're going to be used to the atmosphere of them. But will it work maybe in their against them? Just because they are playing in Germany, they're not playing in their specific stadium, so it could be a very, very different atmosphere. I mean, it'd be quite weird though, because I think, take for example, I think Schalke Stadium is getting used at one point for it. If you're getting drawn out as the home side, being the home side in Schalke Stadium, it is a weird situation, isn't it?
At least you've played there before. The pitch. Maybe because we always say like in England, Wembley's bigger than your average pitch, and by no means is Schalke Stadium like Wembley, but they'll have played on it before. Whereas teams coming from these foreign lands, dare I say, the pitch quality is not as good, so they might be used to play in a bit of an uglier style of football because the pitch doesn't hold up as well. So we'll see. so many. It's just the world's strangest tournament, isn't it? At the moment,
it really is. We've got a first corner of the game here. Poor mistake at the back. Piatov just kind of letting the ball go out of play, giving them a corner. I don't know why he's done that, but of course they've got some tall players in the box. John Brooks is one of them. Wout Weghorst, Ginczek. It's lofted in, and it's straight into the hands of Piatov. So a little bit let off there with the first kind of little opportunity of the game.
Yeah, there was one. I think I can't. I'm going to struggle with names here. I really am. A midfielder from Copenhagen took strike from range, but it was nowhere near going in, and they were just trying to pass out from the back, and they put themselves in a little bit of trouble early on.
It's going to be very tense, of course, for these sides. There's been a bit of a tackle here that's going. We're going to get the first yellow card of the game, potentially. One of the Shakhtar players has gone down. It doesn't look like a good tackle. I mean, the Shakhtar manager right now is kind of a bit worried more than anything. Hopefully, it's not a bad injury, because 2.5 minutes into the game, if we've already got to play down, it's the worst possible start for any of these sides. Of course, there could be a couple of these teams in the competition that are a bit lower on players because of contract situations, COVID itself. So any injuries at this stage could be very, very bad indeed.
I mean, we look at the benches today. Copenhagen's bench is considerably smaller than Istanbul's. So, I mean, I don't understand maybe the contract situation for the. I know I keep bringing it up, but for the likes of Damendor, would you not just keep him on to finish the tournament, have as many numbers as possible? Well, you think that it's 1-0 Copenhagen, and
Really?
as I'm speaking, you don't need Damendor. Forget about it. It's absolutely brilliant. It's Wind, the attacking midfielder, with the goal. Martin Skrtel looks absolutely despondent, and 3 minutes in, Copenhagen have got the goal they required. Keep a clean sheet now. It's a switch by Rasmus Falk over to the right to Varela, the former Man United man. He chips it in on the half volley, and Wind dives at it with a diving header past the goalkeeper. It's 1-0 Copenhagen, and I've got to admit, it's a lovely goal. Poor defending. The centre-backs are marking each other, and he's up against the right-back Kaisara, and it's no match in the air, and Wind heads it home.
That's absolutely massive. Just like that, they're right back in it. And as it stands, it go into extra time, of course, both teams with the home goal in their games. It's big goal. And the important thing is, first kind of 3 or 4 minutes in to get a goal like that is really going to lift the players' attitudes and aspirations to try and make it through to the next round.
And it's his first match. It's his first match in the Europa League, apparently. 1 goal in 1 match. So
what a way to start, Jesus!
Right. What a way to announce. So I'm not sure what are the rules on new signings. Like, I'm guessing they can't play.
No, they can't play.
I was wondering, like, why he hadn't played in the tournament yet. Like, maybe they'd signed him, but no, if they can't play, then he must have just not been in the fold.
Yeah, I think they're able to register a couple more players now. But in terms of signings, if they've made them in the last couple of weeks or months, I don't think they can play them. I think it was up to February. Yeah, if they signed by that point, then they're all right to play. But as it stands, Copenhagen 1, Istanbul Basaksehir 0, 1-1 on aggregate. It's all square. The other game, Shakhtar and yes, 0, Wolfsburg 0. Wolfsburg dominating quite a bit right now. I'll tell you one person who's doing quite well so far. It's that man, Wout Weghorst. He's been a very, very big danger right now. Piatov's had to come out of his box numerous times to try and stop him. Of course, he's not the quickest player in the world, let's say, but his height, his build, his just body type in general is going to be very, very hard to play up against. And when you actually look at Shakhtar's Wolfsburg front three, they've got, of course, the 6'5", 6'6" Wout Weghorst, and then on the right hand side, they've got the 6'3" Ginczek as well, who is very tall himself. So it's going to be very tricky for Shakhtar.
I was going to say, when the lineup came out, they were playing a 3-4-3. I thought maybe they'd adopt a forward, in game. But there was no recognised right back with Pongratrich and Tisserand and Brooks. So I just completely disgruntled that, because the likes of Ginczek doesn't strike me as a right midfielder, dare I say, especially not a bombing right winger anyway.
Yeah, no, he has been playing right wing a lot this season, so I guess he's just got naturally used to it. But here come Wolfsburg on the attack. There's a good chance if Ginczek, the ball's a little bit too heavy towards him, but he does applaud. And another good chance goes wide there for Wolfsburg. And they need a start like this, because if they can get an away goal, 2-2 on aggregate, and I think, as far as I'm aware, they'd actually be going through. So it's an interesting game right now.
Shakhtar got 2 away goals, so I don't know.
It's an interesting situation, but Weghorst, he looks really, really up for it today.
Well, we saw kind of a bit of him when the Bundesliga returned, because obviously we did the watchalongs every week. He's one of them. He can go silent for about 80 minutes, but you give the guy a chance and he can probably put it in the back of the net.
Absolutely. Absolutely, indeed. It's going to be a tough game. I mean, Shakhtar, of course, being at home today, it's all in their hands, technically speaking, as it is for FC Copenhagen right now. 1-0 up. They are really putting the pressure on Istanbul Basaksehir, who I've got to say will be looking at this competition thinking, well, why not go for it? I mean, it's literally just come up on my screen saying they've scored, which is just a little bit late. It was scored 3 minutes ago.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is, when you're behind in a leg, an early goal like that, for either team, I mean, an early goal for Istanbul would have knocked the confidence of Copenhagen, and that was it. But now they're 1-0 up in 3 minutes. The momentum is with them now. Just keep riding that momentum and maybe put Istanbul to the sword and put them under a bit of pressure early on.
Absolutely. We've had another chance for Wolfsburg. Not a big chance, I said, another little chance. Brekalo on the right-hand side, lofting it over to his other winger/midfielder, you could say right now, Jeremy Roussillon, trying to take a shot on the half volley. It bounces on the floor, goes out for a corner. So we do have another chance here for the likes of Weghorst maybe to open the scoring in this game. It's going to be whipped in by Maximilian Arnold, who has been fantastic this season for Wolfsburg towards the end mainly, as they try to fight for the Europa League, and his cross is taken short. It's lofted into the box and it goes out of play. So very disappointing there. And it stays 0-0 right now. First 10 minutes gone very, very quickly.
Is it nervy? Do you think any team looking? Well, by the sounds of it, Wolfsburg look much the better team.
Absolutely. I don't think Shakhtar have had a shot yet. I mean, we are only 9 minutes into it, let's say, but Wolfsburg, if anything, they have to be the side that comes out today. And with the first 10 minutes, you'd kind of expect them to eventually score in this match, but they're doing well. They're doing well. They just need to get that first shot really on target, put Piatov to the sword, maybe just like what's happened at Copenhagen, get a nice early goal and change the rhythm of the game.
Well, that's it. The Istanbul, admittedly, they've done okay since they've conceded early, but this isn't the free-flowing style they would have wanted to come here and play. They would have wanted to dictate the game because it's in their hands. But I mean, when you get that early goal, you put the impetus right back on yourselves to do your job.
Absolutely, indeed. It's just about to hit the about 9 minutes and 30 seconds here. Kind of give you a rough idea of possession-wise right now. Wolfsburg, as it currently stands, have had so far not a great deal of possession, actually. 44% to Shakhtar's 56%, which is quite surprising because it just feels like it's all Wolfsburg in this first 10 minutes.
Which is what, by the sounds of it, maybe they've had more of the key moments in the game. There was a nice ball from the left over to the right to that man, Edin Vishka. And in these moments for Istanbul, you want to get him on the ball. He's the game changer in this Istanbul side. Tried to drill the ball back across the goal, and I could see Demirbay in acres of space, but a trailing leg from the defender gets it clear. And it's good defending from Copenhagen.
We've got a good first chance here for Shakhtar on the attack. Tyson whaps it into Junior Moraes, and then it's hit by Kovalenko, and it's a very high and wide shot. And that's the first chance that Shakhtar have had of this game so far. Once again, it's a very small chance at best. I mean, it's a good little run from Marlos on the right-hand side, just using the most of the space. John Brooks ball watching there, and really, really poor from him because if he kept ball watching there, I think Marlos would have had the space to whip it into Moraes. But good opportunity. It is I would say it's an open game right now because Wolfsburg seem to be really going for it. Talking about that, another ball into Weghorst, who once again just hasn't got the pace to get onto the ball, and Piatov can run out. And I guess that's maybe where Wolfsburg are lacking to a certain extent. If they had that extra kind of bit of pace up top, somebody who could run onto the ball rather than having somebody like a Weghorst. It's a tough one, isn't it, really, because his height and that is so influential to his play.
Yeah, and sadly, when you're that tall, you very rarely have the pace as well, unless you're the likes of a special beast like Erling Braut Haaland. But yeah, talking like on these strikers, nowadays that big target man has been lost in football at the moment. They're not the strikers that everyone wants, and the only ones that have been successful over the past couple of years is Giroud. Really, he's been the only one I can name that's been an outstanding target man. So it's very difficult to be influential with that style of play nowadays.
Absolutely. Absolutely, indeed. There's not a great deal of target men players out there that are very well known to a certain extent as what the likes of Giroud are. But we are 11 minutes into these games right now, as it currently stands. Shakhtar 0, Wolfsburg 0, still 2-1 on aggregate. And FC Copenhagen 1, Istanbul Basaksehir 0, 1-1 on aggregate in this game. By me, welcome to Stream says, when will be the Manchester United match? The Manchester United match is at 8 p.m. UK time. We'll have live coverage of that game as well. As I said before, we've got the Man U last Linz game at 8 o'clock. And we'll also have coverage of the Inter Milan and Getafe games. So do keep your eyes out because we're covering every single match. And we've had a long shot, and that has just gone wide in Castiles with a good save, because I think that was Mike on there who took the shot on from long range, and Castiles has to tip it away because it had some power on it. It was hit towards straight at the goal, I'd say, but a hell of a lot of pace on that, and so close to taking the lead. And
I've got to admit, it was nearly double for Copenhagen as Rasmus Falk picked it up on the left-hand side after a bit of ricocheting in the midfield, and he took it and he curled back in onto his right foot, tried to bend it into the corner, but it was a good eye for the goalkeeper who can just parry it away, but luckily there wasn't a Copenhagen man anywhere near to tap home the rebound.
Getting some good chances indeed. But for the games tonight, of course, at 8 o'clock, we won't be live for that. It will be Rowan and Kieran D, part of the Sports Corner team. They'll be doing those games tonight. So as I said, we're covering every single match across the Europa League and Champions League. So if you don't have access, I know there'll be a lot of you, specifically in Britain, that probably don't have access to the likes of BT Sport and places like that, probably having to use illegal streams, then you can keep your eyes out, of course, for all the reaction. Of course, Kieran D is a Manchester United fan, so you'll really get full reactions tonight of that game. But let's be real, they are 5-0 up in that one, so I can't see much changing in that match, unfortunately. Although it would be nice maybe for a couple of goals for Last Linz, just to make things interesting.
I mean, you're asking for a bit there, especially now we've got rid of problem sets. It's just no chance for them now.
No, I mean, that's the problem, isn't it, with this competition? Because it's so late on, there's a lot of clubs that will have no doubt lost some of their players who were playing in the previous games.
I know, but the thing is, if you think about it now, is Rowan's games for the next 2 days, somehow he's managed to get both the single leg ties. So he's got Inter and Getafe and Sevilla Roma that are only one leg. So tonight we will see a team go through based on just one singular game. And he's got the real corker, I think.
Yeah, there's two very, very good games in terms of the single leg ones for the round of 16. That is Sevilla and Roma, and then Inter Milan Getafe, which is, of course, that game tonight. That is going to be a very interesting game. The first time we'll have seen Conte for a few days since the whole situation started. But there's another chance here for Wolfsburg. Another ball that's fed into Wout Weghorst. You can kind of tell the way that they're playing today away from home. But once again, he's just not got the pace to get the ball. He's so unlucky. There's not much he can do. He's just not quick enough to get it. And that's where maybe they might want to try and invest in somebody who is a little bit more athletic. Maybe he's a backup player, not necessarily as a starting player.
Well, they've got pace. I think their skill is they've got pace on wide areas, not with Ginczek specifically, but with the likes of João Victor and Josep Brekalo. They give a little bit of pace, but there's only so many balls you can whip in the air in the box, and sometimes you've got to have the ball on the floor. And I think they're a much lesser team when they're trying to play that way.
Absolutely. There was another free kick just lofted in there. There was a handball on Shakhtar, a little bit too far out to take an opportunity on goal. It was lofted into the box on the far left-hand side of the post. John Brooks does get his head onto it, but it's a little bit too high to really have any opportunity on goal, and Piatov claims the ball. But now we've got a chance here for Shakhtar. Just moving up the field, Marlos switches the play into Tyson. Good work from the team here. Of course, they've got a lot of good Brazilian stars that many people may know from the past and present. Marlos now Ukrainian, not Brazilian, but the play kind of dies out. He's back again. Good opportunity here for them to go on the attack. It's into Marlos once again, who's been very prevalent in this first half. Still going. Marlos, still going. And he's just a little bit heavy with the ball. He gets into the box, tries to dance around the Wolfsburg back line, but a heavy touch of the box means it goes straight into the path of John Brooks and he can clear his lines. And another good opportunity there for Shakhtar maybe to try and counter-attack in what has been a very, very tense first 15 minutes for the home side. We've got a couple of questions in the chat. Mush Jungle, welcome to the stream. What a name. He says, what teams do we support?
Wait, let me step to the Hull City. There they are. Hull City. I support.
And Rotherham United on my side, which you're probably then wondering, well, why are you covering Shakhtar, Wolfsburg, and Copenhagen? But we do like AFL teams.
We can't be in the Europa League, so we watch the Europa League. That's how it goes.
We do indeed. We try our best. This is what we can't experience as football fans. We want to be able to watch these games.
We've been in the qualifiers once, Josh. Don't disrespect us like that. We've been in there once.
Maybe that's then I can't experience it. Bambi's put your very good commentary, like professional, Mr. White Shirt. Thank you very much, Bambi. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate it. What's happening in the Copenhagen game? Has there been any measuring moments?
No, I'd love to be able to give good commentary myself, but there has been nothing that has happened. I'm sorry. There was an injury earlier to Falkman as Skirtle went to clear the ball. It was closed down well by the striker, and then he raced away. But Skirtle got back well, and it was more of the afters of the challenge in the way he fell on his back rather than the tackle itself.
It's gone a little bit quiet, of course, as it stands. Copenhagen 1-0 up, 1-1 on aggregate. We're about to get towards the 20th minute mark, which it just is crazy because it feels like we only just started about 5 seconds ago. It just proves how quick time goes when good football is on, of course. You might have seen the EFL playoff final last night. It was pretty dull until the kind of extra time kicked in, but we've got a chance here for Wolfsburg. Bobbling ball, cleared away. He's such a danger man right now for Weghorst. We said about it in the podcast before, his athleticism, his body, his build is going to be really, really tough to work with. But now here comes Shakhtar on the counter-attack. It's lofted into the path of Junior Moraes, who does try to take a touch onto the ball inside the box, and he slips. And well, if he'd got a proper touch on that, it would have been 1-0 Shakhtar. Very, very lucky there, Wolfsburg, but they've got another chance. Tyson trying to whip it back into the path of the Ukrainian striker, who just knocks it to the path, I think, of Zhao, his name is, I think Wolfsburg midfielder who's playing today. And unfortunately, I think it's Schläger actually who's playing, my bad. And he just can't make anything there. So good chance there. Bear Loves, he says, hello from Romania. Welcome to the stream.
Hello.
And of course, if you are new as well, Romania, we've got where is everybody from in the chat? Be great to know where everybody is from. We have got a very worldwide audience, you could say, when it comes to the channel. But if you are new and you are enjoying the streams, we've got plenty more to come. As I said, we're covering every single Europa League and Champions League game over the next couple of weeks. So if you haven't got access to them and can't watch them and just want to get a good update on what's going on with the games, then it's well worth subscribing. We're going to be doing more watch-alongs, not just this season, but next season as well, when the respective leagues do come back. And I did forget to say as well, actually, I didn't notice afterwards when Junior Moraes tried to take the shot on a slip. There was a very, very slight touch from one of the Wolfsburg players, and Schläger actually had to clear it just off the line. But we've got a free kick here for Shakhtar, about 30 yards out from goal, so there's not going to be really a dangerous opportunity to take the shot on. It's into Alan Patrick, now to Tyson. His ball is deflected, and Wolfsburg could get the ball back. And it's very, very cagey first 20 minutes. Very cagey. Schläger's had a lot of work to do right now in this first 20 minutes. He's the Austrian midfielder, more known for just being a kind of a box-to-box player than specifically a defensive or attacking player. And as I said before, the clearance kind of off the line there, he very, very good. Very, very good clearance indeed. And it's just very nervy right now, which is what you'd expect anyway in the first 20 minutes of a game like this.
Yeah, definitely. And just now it's been lovely build-up play from Istanbul in the midfield. It was plenty of 1-2s in the centre of the park. Demba Ba doing really well with his back to goal, laid it off to the midfielder. He then tapped it back to him for him to run onto, but good recovery by the Copenhagen left-back, who anywhere will do, and just levers the ball out of play.
We've got a couple of questions in the chat from people. Mush Jungle says, what's your thoughts on Jadon Sancho and Ziyech? In terms of the deals?
Yeah, or as players. Because, well, Ziyech for me is technically on the ball, dribbling, is one of the best in the world. He's been one of the best in the world since that his star season, I'd say, last year. And when he cuts inside, it's game over. We saw that against the likes of Tottenham. So I think it's a good deal. I wonder where he's going to fit in with the likes of all the youngsters that Chelsea have and the addition of Havertz and Werner as well. So a lot of attacking threats for Chelsea. He'll just add to that. And then Jadon Sancho, I mean, for Man United, depending on the finances, because over 120 million is what they don't want to be bullied into that because it may look like they've overpaid. But in terms of a player, what an unbelievable talent, fearless. He doesn't care about the occasion. He'll play his game and not let the occasion get to him. And just a brilliant, brilliant dribbler, and makes Man United's attack with the addition of Bruno, Greenwood, Rashford, Martial. It's just two teams that look so dangerous attacking now. That's my thoughts. And long thoughts, but thoughts.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, we've seen what Ziyech can do at Ajax, the crazy amount of goals he scored. I mean, we've seen him score from corners and things like that. But I think both signings will be great for clubs. I mean, Man United, what a dangerous attack they've got next season. It's going to be fun to see him. You know, Bruno Fernandes just slotting in so perfectly at the club. He's done so well. And if Jadon Sancho does happen, which I think with the way it's looking, it will, I'll talk about it in a second because Wolfsburg are on the attack here. Good opportunity to toss it to the box. About Weghorst, who's got to take the shot on there. It's right, literally, it's so close to being on the line of the goal, and somehow he's not been able to tap it in. That is really, really poor from him. It's João Victor who's dancing on the right-hand side. He passes it in, and all he's got to do is get one touch on the ball, and it'll be 1-0 Wolfsburg. It's kind of if he hops over the ball, it's gone straight through his legs, and it's just a big opportunity that's wasted for Wolfsburg. And Piatov might have just put him off there, trying to kind of dive/tackle for the ball, and a good opportunity goes wide for Wolfsburg. And you can see right now with Weghorst's face, he's very disappointed with that opportunity.
There was claims for a penalty there from Chirivelli, the winger. There was a long ball over the top. I think it was from the left back, Clichy. He runs onto it. He tries to tap the ball over the defender, and it appears that the defender has closed his arm in a way to impede the play, but the game continues. No VAR check. I think VAR check's been done, and nothing untoward has happened.
Interesting there, still 1-0 right now. But yeah, in terms of that Jadon Sancho deal, I do think it's a fantastic deal indeed. And another question which Shivan's actually put, welcome to the stream, Shivan Jeffwa. To follow on, do you think Man United will win it?
They've got as good a chance as, for me, 3-horse race, outside chance for Wolves, but for me, it's Leverkusen, Inter, Man United. They're the front runners. They've got more than a good enough chance to win it with the likes of Bruno really inspiring that Man United team since the restart.
They've got quite good through as well, I think. I think they got the better path out of the two that were available off the top of my head. I know it was a long, long time ago when the draw took place, it feels like. Yeah. But, of course, whoever they face in the next game is the one you're currently watching, which is Copenhagen versus Istanbul, which, of course, you would expect them to win a match like that. So they've got a very, very good way to get through, especially with these single-leg games.
They've had a unbelievably favourable run to the final with Linz and now the winner of this game. Not to discredit these teams at all. They deserve to be in the Europa League, but for a team like United, if they go out to one of these, it's a travesty for them because they've had an easy run to the latter stages of this tournament.
Absolutely indeed. Mush Jungle said he thinks both quality and ban me. I could tell you're a Man United fan. He said East or West. Man United is the best, and of course you'll find out what happens in that game. That's at 8 p.m. UK time for that one. Man United v Las Linz, 5-0 up currently against Las Linz. I said I think it might go into double figures, but we'll have to see, of course, because we don't think that they're going to be playing the main starting 11 tonight. So that's the other game. And then Inter Milan versus Getafe, 8 o'clock. So keep your eyes out because once this stream ends for these two games, then straight afterwards, depending on extra time, if it does happen, of course, we'll have to see. Then those two games will be live as well. But we've got a good chance here for Shakhtar coming through. He's Tyson. He's got a chance to take a shot on goal. He's hit the post. He's come off him and he's gone out of play. And Roussillon has to clear his lines. I thought he was going to go out of play there for a goal kick. And Roussillon has just decided to absolutely hoof it away. And he should have probably just left it to go out. But Marlos has been such a danger man. Tell you what, Castiles was beat there. He's very lucky that the post has kept it out. And we've got to throw in a decent area here. But he's such a danger man, Marlos, the Ukrainian.
Seems like a very decently matched game, like two teams that are very, very low. I think that was kind of the problem with Fulham and Brentford for long periods last night, was that they didn't want to lose, but also they were so evenly matched that no team wanted to move an inch, really.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think this is the way that this game is going right now. Of course, it's such a slender lead when it's only 2-1 on aggregate. You don't want to let Shakhtar get another goal because if it goes 3-1, when you're away from home already, it's going to be tough. And then Shakhtar don't want to concede to Wolfsburg because if it goes 2-2, they've got that important away goal. it's going to get very, very tight. And they've just shown the Marlos chance again. It's so close. Hits the outside of the left post, and Casteels was completely beaten in there. And he's a very, very lucky man that's not gone into the back of the net. But it's a good game to watch. And for those of you that aren't able to watch it, it's a real shame because it's been a very, very tasty affair. And just as I say that, we've got a 30-yard free kick here for Wolfsburg. Arnold's whipped it in. It's for the head of John Brooks, who does get his head onto it, but it's nowhere near the goal. And it's going to go out of play for a goal kick. So another opportunity wasted.
We spoke about Wolfsburg during the Bundesliga watchalongs. Their use of set pieces with Arnold's technique and delivery, it aids the likes of Brooks and Weghorst with their aerial prowess to really be dangerous from set pieces.
Absolutely. There's been a couple more comments. Thank you, everybody, by the way, for the comments. Greatly appreciating us. And I'll not say it too many times because I feel like just advertising too much. If you are new, we greatly appreciate it if you do leave a follow because we are covering every game. Shivan has put that Sevilla-Roma game should be an interesting one. Yeah, absolutely agree with you.
Definitely.
Both very good.
Go on.
Very good teams. I was just about to say they're both very, very good teams on paper.
Yeah. Yes, Sevilla had a really good year in La Liga. I think they finished in the top 4. Did they get that 4th spot in the end, I think?
Did indeed.
And Roma were the best of the rest from the top 4 in Syria because the top 4 kind of ran away with it towards the end. But you can never really discredit Roma because in Europe, in the last years, they may not have the same players as they did back then, but the team's still there and that mentality's still there.
Absolutely, indeed. I mean, they're two sides you would expect probably to be playing Champions League 9 times out of 10. Bear Loves has put his prediction, quarterfinal, Man U Istanbul, Inter Leverkusen, Wolves Sevilla, Shakhtar Basel. It's
such a shame that Inter v Leverkusen is only a quarterfinal for me. I wish it was a semi, if not the final, but I can't have that, sadly.
It's a shame because even like Wolves Sevilla is a good game on paper. I mean, as I said, it might not happen depending on results, what happened over the next couple of days, of course. I think the round of 16 is over today and tomorrow. So we will know actually by the end of tomorrow night who is in the quarterfinals. But there's some really good games on paper there. I mean, if that does happen, let's say with Shakhtar and Basel, you've got to be looking at that and thinking we're going to be in a semi-final potentially.
Well, I would have said that apart from Basel dispatched Frankfurt, which Frankfurt are no mugs. They've had a really rough season in the Bundesliga, and that's clear to see. They've not really, what's it called? Picked up any trees. I don't know if that's the saying, but they've not done much. However, that for me, the threat's always there. So Basel may be that team that would discredit in a little bit, like Ajax in the Champions League in the last couple of years. Even like these two teams, when we put them and we said they were probably out last round, they can always put up a fight.
Absolutely. Got another chance if it's Shakhtar trying to go forward, but it's quickly dispossessed. Now here come Wolfsburg on the counter-attack. It's such an interesting game so far. Constant counter-attacking football. Just looking at a couple of comments. Kevin Arona in the stream. John Brooks, the guard dog, and Hey Arnold.
Yeah.
We love it.
The legends of the game.
Oh, and well, the counter-attack is quickly ended. Koklava getting a bit of a block there on Ginczek's cross. He's been a bit quiet right now in this game, but they have got throw-in a decent area. And it looks like they're going to go for the long throwing option here. A lot of players moving into the box, including John Brooks coming up from the back. Of course, they've got to go for it today. Still 2-1 down in that match. And Ban Mees asked, are you excited about the Champions League?
Oh, very excited. I mean, if you're a football fan and you're not excited about the Champions League, you're doing it wrong. That's the question.
We've all been waiting. It's felt like ages since we've had the previous games, but it's actually a corner that's been given here. Arnold's going to loft it in. And well. Piatov came running out of his box there, and he's very, very lucky that no player's got a good header on it because he's gone out of play for another Wolfsburg corner. He was miles off his line, and if John Brooks was just an inch closer, that would have been in the back of the goal. It's going to be lofted in again this time. Taken short, lofted towards Weghorst, but Brooks gets in the way of the Dutch striker. It's lofted back in again, but not the greatest of balls. It's now come back to John Brooks inside the box, who takes a very, very heavy touch, and eventually Piatov can get his hand onto the ball. And another chance going wide there. And I feel like I'm saying John Brooks' name a lot because he's really, really been quite all right in this first half an hour. He's had a couple of decent opportunities with headers, and it's what I said before: athleticism, the body builds, set pieces are going to be so important at this stage with the amount of tall players that Wolfsburg have got. and I could quite easily see maybe a free kick leading to a goal from a header.
And corners as well. And I mean, how important would it be for them mentally to get in at least one goal up? It makes the idea of the challenge so much less if they can get one in just before half time.
Absolutely, indeed. I'm just looking at the comments as well. Bear Loves has said, I want Rangers to beat Leverkusen because even its Hadji play, of course, Romania. Leverkusen is a hard rock for Gerrard's team.
Yeah, Leverkusen, standout team to win the tournament, hopefully. I don't know whether Havertz has decided, because I know Werner said he didn't want to play Champions League because of his move to Chelsea. I think Havertz will play, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, what a save. That is a big save. Sorry to jump in at the last second there, because that was a fantastic opportunity. The attack is still on, so I'll kind of say what happens in a moment. It was a half volley from Stepanenko inside of the box. Good save from Castells, having to put his right foot out to deflect the ball away from his goal, and that was a big opportunity in this game to take the lead. It was actually Mativenko, that went for the shot there. Stepanenko tried going for it at the same time as well, but a lovely chance there to go 1-0 up. My camera's got blurry. There we go.
That's all right, but still 0-0 in that one.
Well, that's the thing. I'm surprised it's still 0-0 right now. Half an hour in. They're coming on the attack again. Tyson's in the box. He's passed it back heel from Junior Moraes. Now it's into Marlos, who's right on the edge of the box. It's a lovely pass in there, and it's just wide. Oh, you've got to score that. And they've just shown Yevgen Konoplyanka on the bench, who's literally just smashed one of the seats. He's not happy with that. As I said there, it was Marlos on the edge of the box. He just fed it into the path of Marcus Antonio, who is in, I would say, a very awkward angle to take the shot. It is inside of the box, but it's not the easiest of opportunities to take on. And once again, I've said it numerous times, somehow it's still 0-0 in this game. And Castells making such an important save a moment ago. Very big chance there for Shakhtar to take the lead in this one. But Wolfsburg, I wouldn't say they're hanging on by a thread, but if they do go 3-1 down, they're going to have a hell of a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
How's the other game been going?
I'll be honest, it's been very cagey. I mean, it's exactly what I expected. Once they got that early goal and that 1-0 lead, they didn't try and really force themselves on the opposition. They've kind of kept the ball, kept it simple. I've seen nothing of Basaksehir's star man, Erin Vishka, really. That's credit to Copenhagen. They've had the better of the chances, but it's been hard to really, come in with some sort of key chance because there hasn't been many at all.
No, that's a real shame. It's going to be cagey, isn't it? Of course, Copenhagen 1-0 up right now. Istanbul away from home. They need to try and get another goal in this to put the pressure on. I think actually if Istanbul score tonight, there won't be any extra time in that game anyway. So kind of maybe hoping for that to happen. Although penalties at this stage of the competition is always nice to see.
Yeah, this is the only scoreline that can cause penalties tonight. So we'll have to see how that goes, and that'll be interesting for the rest of the tournament because it's no away goals. It's just if the game ends a draw after extra time, straight to pens, which we might see a few penalty shootouts.
Indeed, I mean we don't mind a penalty shootout. I can't remember the last time I've seen a penalty shootout, to be honest. We were close to one in the playoff final last night, but certain few mistakes cost a certain side.
No, I don't remember the last time. It'll probably been in some level of the cup at some point.
It's felt like a long time, which has been a long time since we've had these Europa League games anyway. I think it was, of course, around March time we had the previous first legs of these games, which feels like a long time ago. I mean, it's now August, so it's felt like ages away. And we've got a free kick here for Shakhtar, about 30 yards away from goal. Marlos getting intercepted there by John Brooks. Not the greatest of tackles in the world, but nothing too serious to give any cards out at this stage. And they're going to have a couple of players standing over this. I would actually expect Marlos to be one of those, which he is indeed. I think he's kind of saying to Tyson that he wants to take this free kick. And Alan Patrick as well stood over this. Could be a great opportunity here with just around 10 minutes left of this game to go 3-1 up and really put the pressure on Wolfsburg. Just taking their time to organise the wall currently. I mean, they've got a great wall right now. As I said before, they've got so many tall players. That Veghorst is in there. Ginczek is in that wall as well. But Marlos is going to take the free kick. Would not surprise me here if he goes for the shot. He takes the free kick and he hits the wall, and it's really, really disappointing.
No, there's been a stop for a head injury here to the captain of Copenhagen. Actually, it was a clash with the captain of Istanbul, Mahmoud, and it's just shielding the ball. And as you shield the ball, the elbows go a little bit wide, and it's just clocked him in the jaw, and he's off now receiving treatment. It's not too severe. He's walked off the pitch under his own influence, and he's just got a bit of ice on his chin.
Might get a little bit of additional time. Shakhtar bombing forward again. It's endless right now in terms of the constant attacks. Tyson into Marlos on the far right-hand side, just outside of the box. Is he going to try and whip this one into the box? Of course, dancing around Roussillon, who's having a real tough struggle today. But somehow he does get the ball back. It's good defending there from the Frenchman. Passes it back to Castells, who clears his lines. And he's been so dangerous, Marlos, today. Here comes Weghorst on the counter-attack. Good defending there. Krzysztof falling over. Tough task he's got in his hands today. And the referee's actually given a free kick to Shakhtar, it looks like. Not happy there with the decision.
And we almost had a goal there. Erin Vishka, the star man again, we've mentioned him a lot. He gets the corner and it seems to miss absolutely everyone in the box. It takes a deflection, headed to the back post, and Kaysara tries to knock it back across goal, and he can't quite clear it. He's at the back stick there. The door slightly.
Very unlucky indeed. At least there's a couple more opportunities now. That's what we like to see. A few more opportunities. Yeah. Build the game up. It's been a bit of a quiet one. Bellows has said semi-finals, Leverkusen, Manchester, and Sevilla Shakhtar. He thinks the final will be Manchester and Sevilla. Manchester United and Sevilla.
It's a good... that semi-final for me is the one which that's the star game. Man United versus either Leverkusen or Inter. That's the headliner. But Sevilla, they love the Europa League. I think they won it 3 times in a row, was it, under Unai Emery, I think?
Did indeed. 3 times in a row.
So the competition has improved so much since then with calibre of teams that are now playing in the Europa League, which is why I think they've introduced Euro Cup 2, trying to give these smaller teams more chance of a European trophy.
Absolutely. I do think the whole kind of Europa League competition has improved. The whole... Yeah. Just teams have improved massively. You know, look at teams like Ajax and Shakhtar now, even to a certain extent, that are going on these good runs. I mean, of course, Shakhtar came down from the Champions League, but if you take in clubs like Sevilla, for example, 10 years ago, they probably wouldn't have won competitions like this. You'd expect, you know, teams like Chelsea and Atletico Madrid to just consistently keep winning it. But we've always had, specifically in these last couple of years, a big team and then kind of like a minnow side in the game as well. It's very rarely, I think, you can say, when it's 1 or 2 Champions League sides that have dropped down in a final.
Well, last year it was Arsenal v Chelsea, but I think a magical, well, not magical, but last year Salzburg were star team when they were really good in Europe, and also Eintracht Frankfurt. That was my next one, yeah, Eintracht Frankfurt with Haller, Jovic, and that's what really got them their moves, their domination of Europe for many periods of that. And I thought they obviously lost on penalty shootout to Chelsea, which is really heartbreaking. I would have loved to have seen them because I think that last year they were such a force.
I'd have liked to have seen at some point Salzburg take on Frankfurt because they were the 2 kind of informed sides that everybody was like the sweetheart clubs, you could say, of the Europa League that season, which everybody just kind of kept an eye on to see how they were doing. And I think this year, I don't think really there is kind of a sweetheart team, to be honest.
Not yet. Not yet. I think the eyes are really on. I think it was more because the fact that Leverkusen dropped out of their Champions League group and so did Inter Milan because they got dealt really tough groups. So the likes of them coming down really stole the headlines compared to the likes of a team from the group stage that's tried really hard. Maybe Basel.
There's Basel. I was going to say maybe you could have said Getafe, but they're kind of starting to establish themselves as a not necessarily a top Spanish club, but they're kind of always up there for the Europa League and things like that. But we're going to get a corner here for Shakhtar. Roussillon just letting the ball go a little bit too far out of play for him to keep that in. And Of course, the referee and the linesman, as you would expect, giving a corner here. But there were calls for handball as well. A couple of players shouting for handball. No chance at all that would be given as a handball. It's nowhere near his hand, but they have got the corner anyway. And with 3 minutes left on the clock, including additional time, we haven't had a goal in this one yet. It's gone by very, very quickly, though, which is always nice in this first 40 minutes. Yeah. And it's going to be Marlos who's going to whip this one into the box. They've got the likes of Krychev, who could maybe get their head onto this and put Shakhtar in the lead. A 3-1 aggregate lead in the first half of the second leg will be massive. It's lofted in by Marlos to Krychev, trying to get it to Moraes, who tries to backheel it into the net, and John Brooks stands right behind him, and there's no chance he's going to be able to get past the American there. And it's another opportunity that goes wide, and Junior Moraes not happy with himself there, and another chance goes begging for Shakhtar.
There appears to be, well, I tell you what, there might be a chance, hence why I've gone a little bit silent, but no, it's all stuffed out in there. And there hasn't been anything by the way of chances, and you can tell because the attacking players of Istanbul are getting quite frustrated. Demba Ba's dropping really deep just to get on the ball, just to try and have a feel of it, because he's barely been in this first half. And then he's got the runners on from him as Vishka and Chirivella trying to make space in behind while he can drop and get on the ball and try and dictate. But they're just getting a little bit frustrated, and they all kind of want to touch because they've been really cancelled out this whole first half.
I think for some teams as well, I think you'll expect specifically these first games to be very nervy and tight, just because some of these clubs haven't played for a couple of weeks now, a couple of months maybe. Wolfsburg, of course, they've not played for a couple of weeks because the Bundesliga finished early. Some leagues, for example, the French teams, the Champions League, won't have played for months because of the whole COVID situation. So I think there will be a lot of teams in their first games that won't be up to the pace, you could say, apart from some of the big respective leagues like the Premier League and the Serie A, because they've only just finished in the last couple of weeks, and for Serie A, the last couple of days. And
we've just had a moment there where Aaron Vishka, he picks the ball up midway through his own half on the left-hand side. He's taken on 2 men at a time. He skips inside from Varela. 3 people around him. They still can't get a tackle in. Goes to bend it into the bottom right-hand corner, but it's blocked by the centre-back and out for a corner. But that is a glimpse of what Aaron Vishka can do when he's when the reins are off and he can target players and dart towards them. Sometimes he's unstoppable.
Very, very unlucky indeed. Good chance there, though, for Istanbul. Just look at the stats right now. Kind of give you guys a bit of a rough idea of how these teams are playing. There's been 7 shots for Shakhtar Donetsk. Only 2 on target right now, but they're having 60% of possession. So, as I said before, they've got a good foothold in the game, but because it's so tight right now, they need another goal. And then as for the Copenhagen game, the Istanbul one, 6 shots for Copenhagen, 8 shots for Istanbul Basaksehir, but the away side haven't had a shot on target yet. So they're desperately hoping maybe they can get that first chance. Alexa Vujic is in the chat. Welcome, buddy. He says Copenhagen Basaksehir is a tie where I want both teams to go out.
That's what made me chuckle. I'm not going to lie. I was like, how dare you? I'm watching this game, but I understand the point. It's like you want to see the best games all the time. And dare I say, this isn't the best game. But, you know, they're really, trying to create things and nothing's really coming off. I'd struggle to see any of these teams blow a team away, especially. But
it'd be very nitty-gritty 1-0 wins, wouldn't it, if anything? If they were to go against a big club.
Well, it looks like that way against each other. To be honest, it's like they're both very compact. They're very defensively. They don't try too much special. It's more get it out as quickly as possible. So there's no style with these teams, but effective, and that's what works.
Well, Alexis put Copenhagen play dire football, and Basaksehir a state-backed project that should not be allowed. So it's an interesting call there from Alexa.
I mean, to be fair, Copenhagen they played some nice stuff in this game. Some intricate play down the left was quite nice early, and the goal was actually quite well worked. But in terms of they don't put that together every single attack. But it is half time now, and I'm going to let Josh take it just for moments while it's half time.
That's all right. Well, we haven't had any drinks breaks in these games, but it's got 1 minute of additional time in this match between Shakhtar and Wolfsburg. If you haven't been able to fully watch the game right now in terms of how it's gone so far, Shakhtar have dominated, and just as I say, that half-time whistle is blown. So it's 0-0 as it currently stands between Shakhtar and Wolfsburg. It's been a tight game of football, both sides having a couple of very decent chances, but Shakhtar, more than anything, being the dominant side in this game. They've had a good couple of opportunities. Marlos has been dangerous on that right-hand side of the field, but there's not been a goal yet. And as we'd expect in these first games of the Europa League, it's going to be cagey, it's going to be tight, it's going to be tense. Of course, 2-1 on aggregate right now to Shakhtar Donetsk. It could all change, though, if Wolfsburg score a goal in the second half. As for FC Copenhagen, they have scored the first goal of the return of the Europa League. It was Jonas Wind who scored in the 4th minute of the match to give Copenhagen a nice equaliser in this game to make it 1-1. Of course, as it currently stands, it would mean that that game would go into extra time or penalties. Istanbul, as I said, they've had 8 shots in that game so far. None on target. They have had a lot of possession. In fact, 63% possession in the game, but they can't seem to break down Copenhagen right now. So they are the scores on the doors, as you could say. Big thank you to everybody who has been subscribing as well. We're up to 644 subscribers. Maybe we could hit 650 by tonight. Who knows? So if you haven't subscribed yet, it'd be greatly appreciated. As I said before, I'll give you an idea of what's still to come on the channel while we are at the halftime mark. We're covering every single game in the Champions League and the Europa League over the next coming weeks. There's 26 fixtures over 19 days, as far as I'm aware. So, of course, we're covering those games tonight between Shakhtar and Copenhagen. And then keep your eyes out, because right after our live stream, depending on extra time or penalties, you can keep your eyes out for the 8 o'clock kickoffs, because Manchester United, they're currently 5-0 up against Last Linz. Who's going to score in that game? It's more of a case of then what is the score going to be? We'll have to find out, of course. That's played at Old Trafford from 8 p.m. UK time. And then the other game which is going on, it certainly is a game to watch out for. The first of the single-legged fixtures. This is between Inter Milan and Getafe. Of course, Inter Milan, it's been a very, very tough end to the season for them. Not in terms of where they finished, but in terms of the manager. Of course, Antonio Conte coming out saying he's not been backed enough by the club. Could that affect his Inter Milan side? Because they've got to go up against Getafe, who themselves missed out on a Europa League spot at the end of the season in La Liga. Those games are at 8 o'clock. In terms of when the live stream will go live, it'll be about 7:45 UK time in terms of when those next streams will go live for those matches. So do keep your eyes out, because Rowan, as we have said before, has got the standout game of the evening and of the day, you could probably say. And then tomorrow we're back once again for more Europa League fixtures. 5:55. It'll be me and Rowan once again. He's got both single leg fixtures. I'll be keeping an eye out on Bayer Leverkusen and Rangers. Rangers 3-1 down. They've got to go to Germany. Can they do it? That's from 5:55. Of course, that is the other game as well. The other single leg fixture between Sevilla and Roma. 2 mouth-watering clashes there. And then the other 2 games coming on, FC Basel and Frankfurt. Basel 3-0 up against Frankfurt. Could they do it and go through to the quarterfinal, or can Frankfurt bring what would be an incredible comeback? If, of course, 3-0 down, it'd be unbelievable if they could do that. That's 8 p.m. UK time, alongside Wolves and Olympiacos. 1-1 on aggregate. Olympiacos have a second chance to potentially knock out an English side, of course, beating Arsenal in that previous set of fixtures in the round of 32. That's 8 p.m. UK time for those fixtures. Belov says he subscribed. Thank you, you absolute legend. God bless you. And then, of course, you're probably wondering, where's the Champions League? Well, we've got you covered, because the round of 16 games, they're on for the next 2 days. And then straight after that, the round of 16 of the Champions League kicks off. Juventus take on Olympique Lyonnais. Lyon 1-0 up in their first leg. Can Juventus potentially be knocked out? Who knows? You'll have to find out on the 7th of August, because alongside that game is Manchester City versus Real Madrid. Man City 2-1 up. Sergio Ramos unavailable for the game because of suspension. Can potentially Man City win the game? We've got to find out, of course. 2-1. It's going to be a tight match indeed. That's the 7th of August. And then the 8th of August, the final round of 16 fixtures. Bayern and Chelsea, Bayern 3-0 up at the Allianz. Could be plain sailing for them. And then Barcelona-Napoli, that one isn't plain sailing, because it's 1-1 in that game between Barca and Napoli. So got some good fixtures to come. And even after that, there's the quarterfinal games you can see over the coming days. It's just a really, really good time if you're a football fan right now, because it's constant good fixtures. Whether it's 5:55 p.m, you've then got games straight afterwards. It's an absolute delight right now to be a football fan. Even if the Euros didn't take place, which is a shame for us, but it does mean we've got these wonderful, wonderful fixtures still to keep an eye out on. In terms of the night fixtures, Kieran, of course, we're not going to be available for those tonight. It's going to be Kieran D and Rowan that are covering those games. The Inter Milan game, what do you think is going to happen in that one?
In my head is saying it's going to be a really close game and more tight than people would expect. And dare I say, I wouldn't be surprised if Getafe was to win that game. Because for me, Inter Milan, I don't think Conte helped himself when he started out in the owners after the end of the season, especially when you've got a really big game coming up against Getafe. If you're looking at pure quality, Inter Milan are better, and I would like to see them go through. I'd probably say it's going to be tight, and we may wait till the latter stages, maybe with 15 minutes to go, before Inter Milan secure their place in the next round.
It's one of those, isn't it? If one of those sides can maybe go even 2-0 up, it could kill the game off straight away, because with it being a single fixture, they haven't got time to go, we've got an extra 90 minutes of football to be able to break these sides down. And Getafe, they've got they're quite notorious for being a very gritty side. They love harsh tackles and things like that. There's been a lot of clubs in Spain that don't like the way they play. And if they can really upset Inter Milan tonight, it's going to make things very, very interesting, because then we could see Getafe come up against Leverkusen, which even in itself is still a pretty good game on paper. But Inter Milan, they've got firepower. Lautaro Martinez being one of those players. Romelu Lukaku as well.
That's the thing. If you look on paper, you just compare the two. Like, you're comparing Martinez and Lukaku to Jorge Molina, and that's no offense to Jorge Molina at all, but the caliber of players is just completely different. But over a single leg, anything can happen.
Absolutely. That's what makes it so special. Of course, the other games tomorrow, which we'll be covering as well. I've got the Leverkusen and Rangers game. You actually watched the first leg of this one. Do you think there's an opportunity for Rangers to get back into this, or do you think it's going to be quite easy for Leverkusen to walk all over them?
It's over. I'd love to say that I'd expect, Rangers to get an early goal. And I mean, if they do, it'll make it a hell of a tight fixture. But for me, in terms of ability, there's just so much more ability in that Bayer Leverkusen side. And them already having a 3-1 lead. I mean, it's one of them. Single leg, could Rangers have done it? Yeah. But with a 3-1 deficit to overturn, I mean, they only beat Aberdeen 1-0 on the weekend. Make from that what you will. But I just don't see it myself personally.
And they've made quite a few signings as well in these last couple of weeks, which once again, as we said at the start, they can't use those signings. So Leon Balogun, for example, can't be registered as a player for the competition. So they are going to lose, I guess you could say, some of their better players, because Balogun joined on a free, probably is a very, very good player at the back for them. He did quite well in that first game. And you could say to a certain extent, they're not going to be worse off, because these are the players that have played in the Europa League. But one of the players that might not be fully up for it is Alfredo Morelos. He's been constantly linked with a move to Lille. Is that maybe going to still be on his mind?
With the signing of Kamar Roof as well, for me, it just looks like Alfredo Morelos is it's hinting more and more that he won't be a Rangers player. And I don't think they can really blame him. He's been there for many a year. He's given really good times. And I think it's about time he takes that step up, because you can only dwell in the Scottish division for so long. I don't want to annoy any Scottish people, but your quality of league, Morelos should be playing in a better quality league than that. So it'll be nice to see him make that move, and maybe if he can get a few goals, leave a lasting memory for his Rangers career, especially with some goals against Leverkusen.
Yeah, I guess he's not come out at the end of the day, and he's not necessarily said he wants a move or anything. He's not desperate. We've seen players in the past where if a big move comes up, they'll do anything and throw the toys out the pram, as they always say, to get a move, which is good to see, because I guess if he can get his head focused, and as you said, if he can get a couple of goals against Leverkusen, then I think there'll be a lot of Rangers fans which will definitely be sad to see him go. But if he could, potentially even go on and get a couple of goals to win them the leg, then it's memories like that they'll always remember. And it will always be a great, great player for them. I mean, there's a couple of bad things about him. He's always notorious for getting red cards, and it's just temperament. He's not the greatest in the world. But at the end of the day, he's a good striker. And as you said, he will want to go on and move to a bigger club, which as you'd expect, he's at a good age to go on to a team like Lille, who have got Champions League football next season. It'd be a great move for him. So that is the Leverkusen and Rangers game at 5:55. Wolves and Olympiacos as well. I think it's a great game to keep yourself an eye on if you're watching one of those games at 8 o'clock. Of course, it's 1-1 in that leg. It's going to be played at the Molineux, which was actually one of the games that potentially wasn't going to get played there because there was a couple of situations going on with Olympiacos players and coronavirus. Of course, before this game was actually played, the first leg, the owner of Olympiacos had actually got coronavirus. So there was always things up in the air about that game right from the first leg. But they played that one. Olympiacos did very, very good in that game, of course, coming off of a great result against Arsenal. Wolves, they've got to go for it now. Haven't got Europa League football in terms of the Premier League because of Arsenal winning the FA Cup. So if they do want to get some European football next season, they have to go out and win this competition. It's an interesting one because we haven't seen Wolves necessarily at their best towards the end of the season in the Premier League. Dropped a couple of points here and there, which could have got them that Europa League spot. Is it a case of them focusing on the Europa League, maybe?
Yeah, definitely. For me, the thing is, sadly, they've missed out on Europa League due to whatever happened in the Premier League and some poor performances. Where Nuno would have expected better, and I think Wolves fans as well, they would have expected to get back in Europe after this year. But they did have a poor start, so they did well to turn it around. But for me, they have to go because in single leg, Wolves can beat every single team in this tournament, and I stand by that. I do believe that over a single leg, they can beat absolutely anyone they want to. And it may suit them even better to just play a team once. Because for them, they may be able to go real high press, counter-pressing style for one game, but over 2 legs, they may be able to be picked off. So if they want to be in Europe, for me, I don't know about you, Josh, there's no reason Wolves can't win it.
No, I think they're a good inside shout to win it. They're one of those sides where, because they haven't played in the competition so long, nobody can really know what to expect from them. Yeah, we always know what they play. They always play the 5 at the back system with the front 3. But I think if you're a big Premier League fan, maybe even a Wolves fan, you'll have noticed how many players the club's been resting over these last couple of weeks. I think there was a certain point where Adama Traore didn't play on the last game of the season. Didn't play, I think, even the game before that. Jean Moutinho didn't play on the last game of the season. So they have been resting players, and I think they want to go for it. And they've got every right to, because there's going to be a lot of clubs which have never played them before. So it's a very good chance for them with these one-legged games to really try and go all the way. And, well, if it was a Man U Wolves final, there'd be a lot of Man U fans, I think, that'd be very worried.
Yeah, it usually ends 0-0, as I think Kieran D said before, between them two. So I think we'll be more like, oh dear, as well. So, but an all-English final is what we had last year. It'd be nice to have it this year as well, trying to get our European dominance. I put dominance in inverted commas, our dominance back. And we'll go from there, I guess.
I think as well, what would happen in terms of, if Man U won the competition, then I'm just wondering what happens there. Does it go to the next place in the Premier League?
I'm not sure, because
in terms of European spots, it's a weird one, isn't it?
Well, no, because the winner of the Europa League gets Champions League. So I don't think they could possibly give a Champions League spot to anybody. I don't think. That would just make it a bit... I know if Wolves win it, obviously they go in Champions League, but I don't think they'd be able to do anything else.
It's a weird one, because usually it's like a situation like that, which, I mean, anyway, there's a long way to go, which doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be Man U Wolves final. I think, as people have said, for example, Bear loves saying it could be Manchester Sevilla final. There's a lot of teams in this which could go all the way potentially. I mean, we've still got a couple of shock teams in there, like Basel, for example. If they can go through, they could shock some people. I mean, there'll be a lot of people that won't expect them to win games, but nitty-gritty 1-0 wins in these one-leg fixtures could do it potentially. Yeah. But it's one of those where if a situation like that came up, I don't think we've had a situation like that for probably years, where there's been a club who've already got Champions League football that have won the Europa League. I can't quite remember off the top of my head a team that's kind of done that in the last couple of years. Chelsea
last year.
Did they?
Yeah.
I can't remember what happened there. I mean, if anybody knows in the chat what happened in terms of the spot for the Champions League, or whether it goes to a Europa League team or what. I don't know.
I don't think anything happened because I remember obviously Arsenal clearly didn't get it because they just ended up getting Europa League football anyway. So yeah, I just think it'd be like obviously it happened to Chelsea last year and Chelsea they already had Champions League, so it didn't really matter. It's a weird one because like we talked about FA Cup, sometimes it gets given to the runner-up, and then it sometimes gets given to the next. It's a confusing world, isn't it?
Yeah, because it's like when you think of it in that way, it's like if they do win it, then it just disappears. That's technical spot what's available just goes away. But I guess that was what genuinely might happen. As you said, Arsenal didn't get a spot last season because they were in the Europa League, so nothing's changed. But we are into the second half of my game. Are you into the second half of yours?
No, we're just doing a nice pan shot of the stadium. It's a lovely stadium, it really is.
It should be in a couple of moments, but we've kicked off now. 40 seconds into this, Shakhtar 0, Wolfsburg 0, 2-1 on aggregate as it stands. Wolfsburg going out of the competition. They've got a lot of work to do in this second 45 minutes because I think that first 15 minutes they looked quite good. And as I said, Weghorst, I was saying his name a lot because he was getting the ball, it was being fed into him, and he was having good chances. But kind of ever since that first 15, 20-minute spell kicked on for Wolfsburg, it's died out, and Shakhtar have been going for it. And I don't think it would be long until changes were made for Wolfsburg here. But I do think a problem for them when we looked at the lineups is they've not got the strongest of benches in the world. I think the only few really noticeable players in terms of well-known are Joshua Guilavogui, the French CDM, Yannick Gerhardt, the German midfielder. Apart from that, the other names I'm looking at the bench right now, they've got Pavel Pervan, which just looking at him, he is a Bosnian, I'm trying to find goalkeeper. So, of course, you wouldn't expect him to come on. Julian Justvan, he is a 22-year-old forward who hasn't actually played any football this season for Wolfsburg, so he's been called up last second. Tim Siersleben, once again, hasn't played for Wolfsburg this season. He's a defender. You can see the running gist here. They haven't got really any big name players they can bring on for the attack.
No. You've got the odd few where you know them, you've seen them on the Bundesliga team sheet a few times, and then some players you've never heard of.
And that's the risk in it, really, because the problem is if let's say they do go through Wolfsburg and they score goals, if a player like Weghorst gets injured, they haven't got really anybody big name to replace him.
They'd probably move Ginczek up front and they'd have to adapt the tactic that way. But that does worry me. Like, I'm looking at Istanbul's bench. They've got a full bench. Yes, I don't know every player on there, but it looks like they could field a different 11 to this 11 and be okay. Whereas the like of the other team, Copenhagen, have got 7 substitutes and 5 of them are going to be brought on.
Marlos, lovely ball. Going into Marcus Antonio. What a save that is. Sorry to jump in there because it's kicked off like it has in the first half. It's a lovely opportunity for Shakhtar to pretty much take the lead within the first 2 minutes. Marlos given so much time, so much space. No players really trying to close him down. Pongrasic is kind of ball watching rather than trying to actually tackle him. He's fed into Alan Patrick. Alan Patrick, my bad. Who tries to get it into the box. Castiles with a save, puts his right leg onto it, boots it away, and it's a good chance. Another opportunity lofted into the box from Mativenko. Drops down for a long-range effort that goes straight into the hands of Castiles. And a good opportunity there for Shakhtar to try and take a very, very early lead in this game. And it's Marcos Antonio, which is what I wanted to say with that opportunity. But great work there from Marlos, who was given too much time and space to go through on goal. And it's just been very, very good first 45 minutes for him. It's as if the Wolfsburg defenders are scared to go in for a tackle on him right now.
He's that type of player, though. We look at Vishka in the Basaksehir lineup. He is a real dynamic winger that when he's running at people, not many people can stop him. And if they do, they have to take him down and foul him. That's simple as.
Absolutely. Well, Tyson decided to take on a 45-yard effort. And yeah, it was, as expected, straight into the hands of Castiles, which is not long from Marcos Antonio's opportunity. But well worth trying to give a test on the goalkeeper right now. I think Castile's had a good game, but here comes Marlos again, bombing down the right-hand side. It's a 2v2. He's still going here. Marlos on the far right. He's into the box, cuts in, dances past Russilon, tries to get it into the path of Junior Moraes, and there's just a slight touch from Pongrasic, which guides it into the path of Castiles, and they're living right on the edge right now, Wolfsburg, and I guess they have to. They've got to go for it. They only really need one goal in the first, I'd say, 15, 20 minutes to really shake up Shakhtar. Of course, if they leave it any longer, then Shakhtar might shut up shop. But to be honest, with the way that Shakhtar are playing, I don't think they will shut up shop. They're just going to try and see how many goals they can get in this game, which you can't blame them.
Well, that's the longer it stays 0-0, the better for Shakhtar Donetsk. That's they've got absolutely nothing to do this game in terms of they don't even have to be as attacking as they appear to be. They could just sit back and enjoy their lead and go home. That's pretty much it.
And that's what's nice, that the fact that they have gone attacking in this game, they know that an opportunity for Wolfsburg, which there was one there from Weghorst from outside of the box. João Victor with a little bit of a heavy touch, which goes into Piatov. But it's nice to see him going out attacking, because why not? If they can get, just as I said before, another goal in this game, make it 3-1 on aggregate, it's going to be so hard for Wolfsburg to get back into this. But we've got an injury here.
Yeah, same here. I'm just wondering whether Copenhagen were going to play on it with their player that was down. Obviously, you don't need to kick the ball out, but it took them a while to decide what they wanted to do. But they eventually decided to kick the ball out after a back injury.
And well, this one was the Weghorst shot, what I said before, deflected into Krytsiov's certain private area. Piatov has kicked it out of play, but he's all right, and they've continued on with play, so we're all good. He's
back up and running. There's no treatment for that.
Yeah, I don't think there's much treatment you can give for the private part area either for Krytsiov.
No, I do think all the physio runs on. I'm just wondering, what are you going to do?
Yeah, it's not a little bit awkward of a position to do anything there, but they've got a couple of decent players on the bench. Shakhtar. We talked about the lack of experienced players for Wolfsburg, but in terms of Shakhtar, they've got a full bench. Wolfsburg have got 2, 4, 6, 7, 8 on the bench compared to Shakhtar's 11 on the bench. They've got Conor Plianka, formerly of Schalke.
Oh, penalty!
Penalty.
It's a penalty to Copenhagen, and it has hit Tapal's hand. The experienced midfielder, it was a great run on the right, cut inside. He's gone to chip it through to Rasmus Falk, and his hand is just doing a run, but his hand is extended away from his body, which changes the path of the ball, and it's a penalty anywhere in Europe, and it's a penalty in Copenhagen tonight. Lovely spin. I don't give enough credit to, I can't see his name, is it Pep Wick?
Oh! He's got to score that. I'll let you talk about your penalty, and I'll talk about the opportunity Shakhtar have had in a moment.
Wind is looking to get his second of the game and his first match in Europe. But yeah, lovely Cruyff turn by Pep Wick before he cut inside and tried to chip the ball through. Great bit of play. I think it's Pep Wick. It's Pep something. But I'll have a look after this. And it's Wind to step up. Number 23. Jonas Wind. Pep Beal, by the way, was the man with the Cruyff turn. Jonas Wind. It's 2-0 Copenhagen. He slots it away. Lovely. Top right-hand corner. I don't even know if the keeper would have dived the right way if he'd have saved it.
There we go. 2-0 to the good Copenhagen. Now they've turned it around, and my lord, there's an opportunity for Wolfsburg. It's so end-to-end, but the opportunity that Shakhtar had a moment ago, it had to go in the back of the net. Tyson, he's one-on-one with the goalkeeper. He gets into the box. He curls it onto the right-hand side, trying to get into the corner just so it can come in off the post. He's so close. Once again, Castiles is nowhere near it. It was going to go in the back of the net. It's a whisker away from the post, and it goes out of play. And we've got a corner here now for Wolfsburg. It's going to be lofted in by Brekalo into the near post. Piatov can get a punch on it, and the referee is going to give the free kick anyway to Shakhtar. And Copenhagen, 2-0 to the good. It's good to see. So good turnaround there.
It's unbelievable, and they have looked the better team. They've got a bit of luck with the penalty, but with luck, you've got to come a bit of quality, and we saw it from Pep Beal on the right-hand side with that Cruyff turn before trying to chip it through. But one goal for Istanbul, and it all matters on away goals, and they go through.
It's tight, isn't it? A 2-0 lead. They always say a 2-0 lead is never good, and a 2-0 lead is never good in the Europa League when away goals come into play. It makes it so much more tight because, as you said, 1 goal for Istanbul. They're right back in it and leading the tie. As for this one, if Wolfsburg can grab a goal in this game, it won't be enough as of yet because Shakhtar have scored 2 goals in the away leg, but it will be a real boost for Wolfsburg in the game to make it 2-2 on aggregate. And we've got another injury in this Wolfsburg game. Schläger. I don't know what he's doing there. He's actually one of the Shakhtar players that has gone down, and then Schläger just kind of walking about him, kind of pushing him while he's on the floor. Bit of a weird one there. Just trying to see what's happened.
Pressure's running high, blood boiling, but there has been a few substitutes. I'll tell you just while you figure out what's happened. I think a young man, Medrizglia, hard to pronounce, has come off for a man called Stage in the midfield for Copenhagen. And then a face more familiar to English fans, Elihiro Elia, has come on for Tekdemir. But it's a run through here. He's tapped it past him. I think that's Durrami, who must have just come on as well. He's going too fast. He's fallen over. He's ran a bit too quick for his own body. And you could...
I was saying Wolfsburg need something like that right now. Somebody with a pace.
Yeah, maybe not Voot, sadly, but you can see the moment he came on, he had Skirtle scampering back, touched it past him the first time. And there must have been a series of changes. I will get to them now. Topal for Basaksehir has come off for Danijel Aleksic. Alexic's more of an attacking midfielder. Topal more of a defensive midfielder. They need the goals. They've got to make a change like that. And I'm seeing who's come off for Durrami. Let me just double check.
We've got Kaufman's on. What a name. We've got a yellow card as well here. First yellow card of the game. John Brooks has gone into the box. Not Brooks. Brooks has gone into the book. Hey, get that one in there.
Yeah.
It's just a clash. He's gone in and need him, but it's a basic yellow card. You know what I mean? It's nothing too serious, but it's an expected yellow card. Just need him in the private parts again. There's a trending pattern here with the area of tackles going in. Maybe that's the tactic from the Wolfsburg managers, just to get the area which hurts the most.
Yeah, it's a below the belt tactic actually from the Wolfsburg manager there, but.
We haven't had any changes in this game yet either, actually. Roussillon's just tying his laces up, but it's been a good first 15 minutes. It's kind of been the same pace as what the first half of this match was. Still 0-0 though right now. I'm very shocked there hasn't been another goal yet, and I wouldn't expect there to be much longer before changes start taking place, specifically for Wolfsburg, who need to do something. But when they've only got 8 players as substitutes right now and not a great deal of big quality players available to them, they really are relying on what they've got on the pitch right now, and they're doing all right, but they're not doing good enough to have that opportunity on goal to really shake this game up. It's a lot of really poor crosses and very small, slim opportunities on goal from the likes of Weghorst and Ginczek. Yeah,
there's been 2 changes for either team. I won't go over them again. Mujazija is off for Stage in the midfield, and Mikhail Kaufman off for Mohamed Durrami up front. And for Basaksehir going a bit more attacking, took 2 midfielders in Tekdemir and Topal off for Danijel Aleksic, the attacking midfielder, and Elihiro Elia, former Sunderland man, who is a winger more than anything else.
So they're going for it, which of course they have to. 2-0 down in a game. Do you think home advantage is massive at this stage? Because of course the next game it's all going to be neutral, so apart from like the German teams and that, it's all right. But do you think they should have done these games in a neutral venue as well? No,
I agree with what they've done, because it wouldn't be fair to give one for the like of Istanbul. They won 1-0 at home. If then it was a neutral ground, you lose what Copenhagen would have had in the second leg. I know there's no one here, but familiar surroundings, familiar pitch, familiar dressing room, they know that sort of thing. So it might sound like, kind of lost words, but it might take effect. I mean, if you go to a dressing room, we see it in the cup all the time, these fancy dressing rooms of Man United, and then you go to lower leagues and they're all cramped next to each other in like a shed. It will affect them.
Well, we have got a free kick here for Wolfsburg right on the box. There's been a An interesting use of VAR here. Now, I thought VAR could not be used for yellow cards, but it's actually been used for mistaken identity check. Now, I don't know where the referee's gone wrong here, because Krzysztof's made an obvious tackle. A yellow card's been given out to a different player, which I don't get, because there was no one near him. There wasn't two players tackling him at one point. It was literally just Krzysztof tackling, I think it was Weghorst. So I don't know where the other cards come from for a different player, but Krzysztof's gone into the book. There's a free kick. It is right on the edge of the box, and this is a great opportunity. Brekalo, Arnold, Watchalong standing over this. You'd expect Arnold to be the person who takes this. He's the one that is looking primed and raring to go, and he's got to do something here, because if he can score this free kick with half an hour to go, it's game on. He's going to take it. He's hit it, and it's a simple save for Piatov. It's hit straight into the hands of the Ukrainian, but the ball is still in play. It's in the box. It's bobbling right now. Brooks takes it down into the box. He's still got it. Now it's into the path of Brekalo, who's dancing, moving to the outer field of the box, and it's a wasted opportunity, which now means that Shakhtar can try to counter-attack, but it doesn't come to anything, and another opportunity wasted from the sides today. And it just feels like now, as time goes on, that it's going to be one of these games that's had so many opportunities, but no one scores.
Yeah, it does seem to say that. I mean, you talked in the first half, I think, was it 7 shots on target for Shakhtar, and nothing happened. But Basaksehir were coming forward then. It was a long ball from the back, and Chirivelli takes a wonderful touch, but the attacker's not on the same page. He goes for a through ball, and the attacker was a bit late to realise that's what Chirivelli wanted.
We've had our first change. Omar Marmoush has come on for Wolfsburg. He's an Egyptian forward, played for the... He's actually played for Wolfsburg this season 5 times. No goals, no assists, but he's come on for Ginczek. So they are changing it up very, very slightly. A little bit more of the approach that we talked about earlier, getting a bit more pace into the side rather than having somebody really tall on that right wing position. So that's the one change that we've had so far in this game. But just looking at that opportunity from Arnold, it's not the greatest free kick. It's straight at Piatov, and all he has to do is just jump. It's a simple save, and he's got to be doing better there. Really,
There's a break for Copenhagen as Rasmus Falk drives through. It's 3-0 Copenhagen. And just like that, this tie is over. He picks it up in the middle of the pitch. It's an absolute lovely run as he's going. He breaks a tackle. Someone tries to come in. I don't know if they're taking him out or they try and get the ball, but he breaks it. Great strength. And then all he has to do is he lines the defender up, uses him as a shield, and curls it round him into the bottom right-hand corner. It's a lovely touch off in the midfield. Missed tackle. Keeps driving. No one's closing him down. Everyone's backing off, so he thinks, I'll take it myself. And he curls it lovely into the bottom right-hand corner. And Copenhagen will look like they will be facing Manchester United in the next round of the Europa League.
What a big game that is for them. 3-0. Jesus, I don't think anybody would have been able to call that to potentially happen in this game. I don't think there have been many people out there with a bet of a 3-0 win. I think most people will have looked at the game and thought Istanbul would have won it.
Yeah, no, and I tell you what, the defenders, they've got to look at themselves because they constantly backed off and they just let Rasmus Falk have the ball and say, go on.
Oh, it's a lovely ball. Ginny Morris is in. He's got to score. He's not scored. How's he missed that? Oh, well, it's an absolute beauty of a ball from Marlos, who has been gifting Moraes pretty much for the entire hour. Beautiful balls. He's just cut the defence open. He's onside. He takes a touch. And somehow Pongrasic has got in the way of Moraes, who's about to take the shot on and stops him from being able to... What should have been a goal. It's a P-roller straight into the hands of Castells. And it's been a poor game for Moraes. He's had multiple opportunities where he should have at least had one of them back in the back of the net. And that's probably the best chance of the game so far.
Will they rue the missed opportunities? You never know.
Potentially. I mean, to be honest, Wolfsburg have got to rue a lot of their missed opportunities as well in this game because it's been poor finishing from both sides, but they're coming on the attack again. Marlos, this time into Tyson. There's another chance.
There was indeed. It was a lovely ball by Kavici. He picks it up after a really poor corner from Vishka, and no one's near him, but he did a light chip with a bit of curl into the box, and Demba Ba's flying at it, but he couldn't get the significant touch needed to put it past the goalkeeper.
They needed that. Yeah, they needed a goal like that.
They've got to. It's one of them. I mean, one goal back and they start to believe again at 3-0 down, though. They look a little bit despondent at the moment.
I'm going to say there's 25 minutes left, a little bit of additional time. Of course, drinks breaks, as far as I'm aware, aren't taking place in these fixtures. So we don't have any kind of breaks there, which is, in my opinion, is good. Of course, it just breaks up the players. Good chance for Wolfsburg. João Victor's through and goal. The goal was past the goalkeeper and he fell over. Oh, is it going to begin with a penalty? Penalty. Well, I thought for a second João Victor had just fell over. I don't know what's happened. He fell over quite late after the tackle. Now, the centre-back currently is protesting. It's not Krzysztof this time. It's Watchalong who's protesting here that his tackle was actually outside of the box. So he knows he's made a tackle. And looking at it, he's absolutely spot on. The tackle is made outside of the box. This should not be given as a penalty. Watchalong makes the tackle outside the box. It's about 2 seconds after the tackle's made that João Victor falls over. Not a penalty, in my opinion.
Free kick, do you think?
It should be a free kick. There's a connection. It should be a free kick. Now, VAR's checking for a penalty here, and I'd be very, very surprised if this is given as a penalty. The referee is going over to the monitor for this.
Ooh.
Now, this is very rare. We don't tend to see this. He's going over to the monitor, and I think once he's seen it on the monitor, this will not be given as a penalty because the centre-back knows he's made a connection. He's even said to the referee, I've made a connection. It's outside the box. And he's spot on because he falls over. It's got to be at least 2 seconds after the tackle's been made. And, well, he's looking at it now, and it's miles away from being a penalty. It's pretty much the same position as where the free kick was taken earlier. And I guess he's off footing when he's trying to run for the ball. He's past the goalkeeper, but it should be a free kick. And the referee's taking his time here, looking at the monitor, just to make sure, because if he does give this as a penalty, this is going to make this game very, very interesting, but I just don't think he can give it. Because, as I said, he's fallen over in the box, and it's quite late after the foul. He's made a decision here. He's coming away from the box. What's his decision going to be? No penalty. It's absolutely spot on there. Good decision. No penalty. Free kick. And that is the right decision.
That's where VAR becomes very, very helpful in situations. But
it's a sending off.
Oh, wow.
Well, I think I disagree with that. A sending off. Shakhtar are down to 10 men. He's just sent off Watchalong straight red. Now, I disagree with that, in my opinion. Maybe the Shakhtar fans will be watching this and will disagree and say, do you know what? It's a penalty. Sorry, not a penalty. It's a sending off. But I don't think it's a one-on-one situation, to be honest. It's not a clear and obvious goal-scoring position he's in. But he's been sent off, Shakhtar down to 10 men, but no penalty given.
Wow. What a turn of events that is.
With 25 minutes left, turn of a tie.
It was one of them. If the penalty wasn't a momentum shifter, the sending off definitely will be.
He could have quite easily given a penalty with no sending off.
Sorry, I apologise for interrupting you there, but Darami slotted it through to Falk, who's really grown into the game. Really nice close control to tap it round the defender. He's one-on-one, but he hits it straight at the goalkeeper.
Well, we've got a free kick here from that red card a moment ago. Shakhtar down to 10 men. It's lofted in. It's a good save this time from Piatov. Brooks on the volley, but it's a little bit too high and wide. And another good chance there is Brekalo this time that took the free kick on. Of course, now Shakhtar down to 10 men, which I'll put on the screen in a moment. It was, to be honest, actually, when I'm looking back at that now, it was hit pretty much straight at the goalkeeper again. So he's got to dive a little bit more this time than the first free kick that was taken from Arnold. But it's another wasted opportunity. And had that gone in the back of the net, if they'd have been 1-0 up and Shakhtar down to 10 men, then it would have made things much more interesting. But they've got that extra man advantage now with 20 minutes to go. So can they come back into the game?
They will indeed. And everything is coming through Rasmus Falk as he played it to win there. And now it has gone over to the left-back, Bollesen. But it's all kind of died in the middle. But I tell you what, Rasmus Falk has grabbed hold of this game by the scruff of the neck in the second half. And that is exactly what you want to see from your key playmaker in games like this. We may not have seen it from Erin Vishka, but Rasmus Falk has took control of this second leg.
And it's massive for them, 3-0. It's a great result. And it would have been interesting if Istanbul had scored that opportunity earlier. a minute or two after conceding the goal to get another goal back would give them the very slightest bit of momentum to get back into it. But John Brooks here might be getting sent off as well.
Oh, wow.
And John Brooks is off. Well, it's a second yellow card. And just after Shakhtar go down to 10 men, Wolfsburg go down to 10 men as well. And I'll tell you what, this time, absolutely, it is a second yellow. It's a high foot. I think it was a high foot on Marlos. Brooks is absolutely fuming with the referee right now. Let's just take a look because I didn't get to see this properly. Ball lofted in. It's a high foot and it's absolutely spot on. It is a second yellow card. No doubts about that. And just as when you thought Wolfsburg were going to get the momentum in this game, they're down to 10 men as well.
That's insane. The advantage was Wolfsburg for a matter of 1 minute before. That's unbelievable.
I mean, we've not had the goals that we might have wanted in this game, but the drama's kicked in with 20 minutes to go. And just as one player walks off the pitch, John Brooks has now got to walk off as well. And at either side, whoever goes through is going to have one less man available in the next round of the competition. And well, the referee there is spot on with that decision. I've got to say, even though maybe the first decision with the Shakhtar decision was a little bit slightly questionable, the VAR decision was absolutely right there. Has there been another yellow card as well? There has indeed. Well, Schleger's gone into the book as well. Not happy with the decision that the referee's made on Brooks. So there's another card there. And maybe now with the last 20 minutes, it might get a bit more interesting.
I mean, now it's 10v10. That pitch looks a little bit bigger and a little bit wider than it did before.
I mean, the funny thing is, both players are actually sat next to each other watching the game now. So they'll probably both probably slagging off the referee.
Yeah, a little bit of irony there, I guess. There was a sub in this game, but it was an irrelevant one, really. With left back Nikolai Bollason off for Pierre Bengtsson. So that's we don't have 2 red cards in this game, just 3 goals. That's all we've got.
Yeah, no, I mean, maybe, who knows? I wouldn't mind a couple more cards in this game, but Marcos Antonio is bombing forward here, still going all the way. Marcos Antonio still going, but straight into the hands of Casteels, and there's a good chance there for Shakhtar. And I mean, the whole game plan changes now. I think Shakhtar are actually ready to bring on a centre-back for that, of course, red card. They still are bringing on a centre-back, but the referee the manager must have changed his game plan up here, because being down to 10 men, thinking, well, Wolfsburg are going to come at you, both players and teams now actually with 10 men, means that maybe it's not as bad as you think.
No, back on an even keel for the last 20 minutes, because there is 20 minutes to go. I tell you what, it's exciting here, Josh. Another substitute. Irfan Kavici off and Berkay Özkan on for Basaksehir.
Oh, it's a lovely ball to Marlos. A little bit too heavy. Can he keep it in? He can. I thought maybe that ball might have been all right for Marlos to keep it in the box there. It's in the attacking phase of play on the far right-hand side. Just a little bit too far out in terms of the cross from Tyson to be anything too dangerous from Marlos. A little bit too heavy, which is why it's outside of the box. But these would be 2 pretty decent games, actually. You know, as I said at the start of the show, these aren't necessarily the big games of the night. Of course, Manchester United and Inter Milan coming up at 8 p.m. UK time. We'll have a live stream available for that in about 20 minutes' time. Kieran D and Rowan covering those games tonight as we cover every single Champions League and Europa League fixture. So if you haven't subscribed already, it's well worth doing so if you can't watch the matches. But they've been quite good games so far.
Yeah. They are very slow to begin with, but once the second half got kicked off, everything's come out to play in the second half, sending offs, VAR, goals, and everything.
Talking about players coming out to play, there is a certain Joshua Guilavogui who is getting ready to come on here for Wolfsburg. So one of the very few main big-name players on the bench today for Wolfsburg. And Shakhtar making a change as well here. Marcos Antonio, who I think's had a pretty decent game coming off here. Kovalenko is coming on. Viktor Kovalenko, the Ukrainian midfielder. So another change there for Shakhtar with about under 20 minutes to go of this game. And then, of course, as I said before, Joshua Guilavogui just getting ready to come on as well. So another change for Wolfsburg.
Yeah, 18 minutes, 17 plus added time. There is a big CDM in the building, Ron. There is. And I've lost focus now because of big CDM.
The box, good chance here. Oh, it's bobbling, and Piatov, he dived down low, and it was the youngster that's actually come on for Wolfsburg in this game. Omar Marmoush with a good opportunity there. Piatov diving early, very risky from him, but Wolfsburg still got the ball in the attacking phase of play. Schläger going down, protested for a free kick, and the referee's given it, and he's absolutely correct with that decision.
Oh, that was awful. Oh, that is absolutely awful. Oh, Kaisara. It's lovely build-up play from Basaksehir. Erin Vishka plays a lovely rolled through ball to Kaisara. There is 2 men across the box waiting for the perfect ball, and it's a tap home. He misses the both of them, puts it too far in front. Demba and Elihiro Elliott cannot believe it. That could have been another one. They've got to put these away.
So unlucky right now. So unlucky. So he's Bracalo, that's come off. Guilavogri's come on in the game. So they're going a little bit more defensive, which is a bit strange because they are currently down. But a free kick here. It's going to be whipped in by Schläger. Lofted into Brooks. Sorry, not Brooks. Sorry, Tisserand even. It's weird because they look very similar to Tisserand and Brooks because they've both got the bold head, but of course Brooks is off. Handball there from Tisserand, so it's going to be given as a free kick to Shakhtar, and it's a waste of an opportunity again. Free kick has been really, really poor today from Wolfsburg, and there's no doubt about Tisserand there with the handball. He's quite blatantly got that up as well, which is really poor from him because had he not had that up, Weghorst was actually in a great position to try and head that into the back of the net. So he's kind of crossed his side there.
Must be a change of shape for Wolfsburg for them to take off a winger for a centre midfielder. I can't imagine they want to secure a 0-0 draw when they're losing on aggregate. But
well, you're absolutely spot on. 4-4-1-1 they've changed to now. So Ginczek's playing as a cam. Ginczek was playing as a cam, so now Marmoush is playing as a cam. Weghorst up top. And apparently, according to Google right now, they are playing Guilavogui as a centre-back. So they're without a left mid right now.
Yeah, so they've had to change it with the 10 men to facilitate that. Oh, they've got in each other's way. Again, the Saxon here, there just doesn't seem to be the communication. I think Alexic is going for it, Bar's going for it. When the ball's whipped in from Clichy, got to be a bit of communication. Someone's got to take charge in that Basaksehir attack.
Well, another change. Marlos has come off for Shakhtar. On comes the young Israeli winger, Solomon. I think Marlos has had an absolutely fantastic game today. He looks very disappointed to be coming off, which, of course, as you'd expect, I don't blame him to feel bad because he was having a really, really good game, a couple of good opportunities from the Ukrainian winger. But Solomon comes on, young Israeli midfielder, good talent in real life. He's come onto the pitch and maybe he could be the difference maker in this game. Shout out to Will Pete. He's watching this one here. He loves Solomon in real life. Could he be the difference maker?
He does indeed. Skirtle, I think, has just been replaced, if I'm not mistaken. Or he looks like he's walking off the field. I feel like prime Chris Kamara when he doesn't have a clue what's going on.
Well, Solomon has had a first decent opportunity already, crossing it into the box for Moraes. Got out of play for a corner. This is the 9th corner of the game. This one is for Shakhtar Donetsk. They need to try and get a goal here. 13 minutes left. 2-1 on aggregate to Shakhtar, but a goal here would surely mean they would go through to the next round. It's Solomon's going to whip this one in. Lofted it towards Krychov. Too high. But it is going to come back to Shakhtar Donetsk. Taking their time with the opportunity.
Skirtle has stayed on. I think it must have been like a change of tape or maybe one of them energy things that they drink. But he was walking towards the touchline, but he's walked himself straight back on again.
Still time in that one. It's 3-1 on aggregate to Copenhagen, but time is running out for both of the away sides right now. Shakhtar, Wolfsburg, down to 10 men in this game, and to be honest, Wolfsburg have looked really poor in this second half. There's not been a great deal of stuff to say about them. They've had the free kick, they've had the 10-man advantage, which of course Brooks destroyed within a minute. They've had lots of set pieces as well, which they've just not used to their advantage, and it's been a poor display from both sides in terms of finishing, unless Solomon can make something here. And he can't. Really poor.
There has been a sub. Oh, continue.
I was just saying, are we maybe going to see a late flourish of goals, or is he going to die out from this stage?
I'd like to, but I don't think so. But we have got a sub. Enzo Chirivella is off for Gulbranson. So that, again, Chirivella has been played more of a forward striker role during this second half, but I don't know what they're going for. Now, they need to get as many men forward as possible, of course, now that they're behind. Gulbranson, definitely a number 9. So maybe they're going with about 7 up top now for Istanbul Basaksehir, but that's what they've got to do.
Oh, it's tense. It's tense. They've got time, 10 minutes. It's possible, but as the time ticks on, it's looking more and more doubtful that's going to happen. Same for Wolfsburg here. They're trying to make a few attacks, trying to really desperately throw everything at Shakhtar. But when I mean throw everything, they really haven't thrown a great deal at them at all. The subs bench, of course, lacking in terms of options. Marmoush being one of the main players that's come on, Guila Vogui as well, but no big name players on the bench. A couple of players like Stefan, for example, not available in this game, not playing at all, not even in the lineup. So could be a couple of injuries here and there. But there's a good chance here maybe for Wolfsburg to go on the attack. Jean Victor's in the box. He's trying to get it towards the path of Weghorst, and it's cleared away by Krytschov. And it's those little moments, those small opportunities that they've got to take, and they're just not using them to their advantage.
No, definitely not during this game anyway, which is a surprise because you think Wolfsburg on paper, you would have probably put them to at least cause them a few problems, but it doesn't seem to have been in this second half.
No, they've been poor. The first half, as I said, that first 15 or 20 minute spell they had where Weghorst was getting a flurry of opportunities, he needed to take them there. You know, if they'd scored one of those first 15, 20 minutes, you really put Shakhtar under a lot of pressure. As you said before, they could have quite easily sat back in this game, and they haven't. And that could have really been their downfall, pretty much. Yeah. But they've done good tonight.
Yeah, definitely so. I mean, with 10 minutes to go here, you can see that Copenhagen are just going to try hit one on the counter because they're pushing so many men forward, Istanbul. But once they get that counter, they're very capable of just keeping the ball. They don't need to rush anything. Whereas Istanbul in the final third look like they are rushing passes, and they are trying to cause openings that aren't really there for them.
Absolutely. I mean, there's going to be another change here for Wolfsburg. Felix Klaus is coming on, so another one of the kind of recognisable players to a certain extent for some people who's coming onto the pitch. Not sure who's coming off. I would assume maybe it's going to be Jean Victor who comes off in a moment, but we'll find out when that substitution does happen. In terms of the scores right now, FC Copenhagen 3, Istanbul Basaksehir 0, Shakhtar Donetsk 0, Wolfsburg 0, and I can just see as well the boys getting ready for the Manchester United and Inter Milan game, because you can see the scoreboard just coming up for me there. But there's an opportunity here for lofted into the box for Shakhtar, trying to get it towards Kovalenko, who tries to get his hand onto it and he just can't. Here's Tyson. Into the box to the far right-hand side, trying to loft it in again, and it's a good block from Guila Vogui, who's playing centre-back, and it's another corner here for Shakhtar. That'll be the, I think, 11th corner of the game. It's very, very nervy final 10 minutes of this fixture between Shakhtar and Wolfsburg, and it's very nervy at Copenhagen as well, even though they're 3-0 up. One goal for Istanbul with a little bit of time. Might change everything.
I think, the nervous ones look like it's Istanbul because they look like they're just absolutely hounding every player, but fair play to Copenhagen, passing it round them really well, keeping the ball well. And as I say, that star man Rasmus Falk has not given up this second half. He's just chased down 2 balls to keep control of it and keep Copenhagen in possession. And that sort of heart with 8 minutes to go is what you want to see from your players.
So the change has been made, by the way, as well for the Shakhtar game. It's actually Watchalong that's come off for Felix Klaus. So they have gone for the defensive option to come off. A bit more attacking Felix Klaus as a winger. So they've got to go for it. But time is running out. I don't think a goal is going to be enough. Shakhtar scored 2 away goals in their first game, so they do need to just win this flat out with 2 goals. With 7 minutes left on the clock. Time is running out.
It is now. About 7 minutes to go, is it, in your game? Because I know there's 7 minutes in mine. I don't know if we're level or...
Yeah, I'm on... our game's at the 83rd minute, 34 seconds.
That's fair enough. We're close to the end.
We are indeed. We've got a couple more fixtures coming tonight, 8 p.m. UK time. The boys are going to be live in about 6 or 7 minutes. I've just seen getting the live stream ready. And as far as I'm aware, they can actually live stream at the same time, which is quite cool. So Manchester United... Las Linz and Inter Milan Getafe, 8 p.m. Kieran D and Rowan will be live with those fixtures. Let's hope they've been as dramatic as our games, and hopefully they've got more goals than the one that I've got right now. But Kieran, to say that at the start of this, you were a little bit disappointed that you picked this game because Damien Ndoye wasn't playing.
Yeah.
Who needs Damien Ndoye?
Well, it would have been 7 if it was Damian Doyle on the field. But, I'm actually quite glad that Papagiannopoulos hasn't been having to come off the bench, because they are making their final sub now, and it's Bartolek and Brian Oviedo. So no need to take the mick, because if it wasn't Papagiannopoulos, the next sub would have been Michael Grittyburst. So
You've been saved.
Yes, I have. I have indeed. So Copenhagen more than worthy of their performance today. They've been much the better side, and as I say, a player that has grabbed the game by the put my teeth back in.
Scruff of his neck, I think.
Yeah, that's the word I'm going with. That's exactly what this game needed, and it needed someone to stand up, and that man was Rasmus Falk. So full credit to him today.
And you know what? Fair play. I said it earlier about the fact that I think a lot of people have expected Istanbul to have come out in this game. I think on paper they've got a better side, but they've used that home advantage really, really well. And to be 3 goals up, I just don't think many people will have expected it. It'll be a good result for them, because either way, I think they know they probably will go out in the next round.
Oh, defensive error, and that man Vishka has missed, and he's the one guy you would have wanted in that position. Bajaland misjudges the flight of a long ball from Gael Clichy. He goes to head it, but he just goes right past him. It falls to Vishka, he goes for it on the half volley, but he's blasted it over with no one near him. He's got to do better with a man of his quality anyway.
Oh, that's really, really poor. They've got to score. They had to score. There's play down right now for Shakhtar. Not really a great deal happening, to be honest. To say that we're getting towards the final couple of minutes of this match, it seems like as if Wolfsburg are going through. They're not going through. They need 2 goals, and there's another booking here for Wolfsburg, actually. Yellow cards come out for a foul from Maximilian Arnold. And it's been really poor from them tonight. And to be honest, with the way that they've played, they do deserve to go out. In fact, actually, I think the yellow card's been given for a handball more than a foul. And he technically, if they do go through, which is doubtful, he would miss the next match. So even in that sense, that would be actually 2 of their big players missing the next game if they were to somehow get 2 goals in the next few minutes. So maybe it's quite bad for. I mean, Brooks and Arnold, if they were to get 2 goals, are 2 of their biggest players for the side. But here comes Shakhtar on the attack again. Matavenko trying to get it into the box there, and there's going to be a corner here for Shakhtar. Konoplyanka's come onto the pitch now as well, so you can kind of tell that how it's going here for Shakhtar. They do want to try and desperately get a goal.
They could just make defensive changes, bring on a couple centre backs, but the fact that they're bringing on left wingers with 5 minutes to go is credit to them.
Absolutely, indeed. And here come Wolfsburg trying to attack again. It's just every time they're getting the ball and they're trying to get into the opposition's half, it breaks down. And now Shakhtar bombing forward. Konoplyanka with a ball into the box for Junior Marash. He can't get there. And somehow that has been kept in play by Dodo. How he's done that, I have no idea. The pace of Dodo to run onto the ball. Unbelievable. And is he going to lead to attack here? No, they're kind of sitting in the corner now. They're happy to waste this game. Solomon just passing it around with Dodo, but he's got it into the box here. Dodo crossing it for Junior Marash. It's in there and it's game over. Well, the Shakhtar manager has ran onto the field as if it's a final. He's celebrating because that is game, set and match. It's a lovely, lovely finish. And I've said it all day long throughout this game. He's been really poor with his finishing. But when it matters, he smashed it into the back of the net. And Shakhtar are 3-1 up on aggregate. 2 goals in 4 matches for Junior Marash. It's a lovely finish. And the fact that Dodo had kept the ball in play there with his eccentric pace, I don't know how he did it. And that has led to a goal. Wolfsburg are out. It's game over, surely.
It looks... if it would have been interesting to see had they lasted with 10 men a little longer, see if Wolfsburg would have been able to get a foothold in the game, but more than worthy of their result. And Oviedo, 3 here on the letter, terrible ball. Forget it. Terrible ball.
It's a lovely, lovely finish from Juna Moraes. Just looking at the chance again. Fair play to Dodo. Dodo is the man who deserves all the credit there. He crosses it in, passes it to Solomon. Solomon lays it back off to him. He gets it into the box on the far right-hand side, lays it off for Juna Moraes, smashes it into the back of the net. The Shakhtar manager is absolutely delighted. He's jumping, he's bouncing everywhere when that goal goes, and he knows that that's taken him through to the next round of the competition. And that is a big goal for the Ukrainian, who I was about to say at the end of the game has had quite a poor day with opportunities, but that is the difference maker, and it was needed. Fair play to him. Wolfsburg, it's game over now. There's not going to be a great deal of additional time as we go into the final 20 seconds of this match.
We have a minute to go, and it's a simple, now keep it in the corner. I mean, Shakhtar have got the goal that for some reason they really bloody wanted this game. They didn't need to get the goal.
Well, they're bombing forward. They're calling for a handball now. Shakhtar, it could have been 2. The referee waves it away. And, well, they're not giving up here. They want more goals, and there's going to be 6 minutes of additional time in this one because of the VAR incident, most likely, and the 2 sending offs. I didn't think there'd be that long of additional time because it didn't take a great deal of time when looking at the monitor, but we're going to keep going here with this game. Of course, the live stream might start in a moment for the Manchester United game as well, so do keep your eyes out for that one with Kieran D and Rowan. How many minutes of additional time are in the Copenhagen game?
We've still not finished. We've still got 20 seconds to go.
Oh, they're through. Shakhtar, Konoplyanka, sorry to get in your way because Juna Moraes is through on goal again, and it's in. It's game, set, and match. He's at the double. And, well, they had to go for it, Wolfsburg. And just like that, Juna Moraes has got another goal in this game.
There is 3 added on, by the way, Josh. 3 added on. And,
well, the goals were to come, weren't they? It was inevitable the goals were going to come in this match. And Shakhtar 2-0 up, 4-1 on aggregate. It's been a demolition at the end. And as you'd expect, they had to go through and try and get some goals, and they failed at the last hurdle. Shakhtar going through to the next round.
Yeah, fair play. Took them longer than they would have liked, but they're with a couple of minutes to go.
It's just lovely work. There's so many plays forward that Konoplyanka's got so much space. He curls it round, gets it past Tisserand, lays it off for Juna Moraes. He's got another simple finish into the back of the net. And, well, it was all or nothing now for Wolfsburg. They'd have had to have scored 3 goals in a couple of minutes, which, it's been done before, but they're just not going to be able to do it this time. And it's a simple finish. Lovely, lovely work. And just like that, Shakhtar with a big goal, 4-1 up on aggregate. And at least we got some goals at the end of it because it was either going to be a situation of there was no goals. And he's through again. It could be free. He's gone round the keeper. It's 3-0. What has happened? Unbelievable. He's got another one. And apparently it wasn't who scored in the previous one. Apparently it was Solomon who scored the other one. But now he has scored. He's 3-0. Unbelievable. It's 5-1 on aggregate. And just like that, 3-0, 3 goals in the last 5 minutes.
You've matched my scoreline within minutes.
That is unbelievable. Well, I didn't really get to see much of that. What was happening there? It came out of nowhere. Well, it's actually come from kickoff. Tisserand passes it into Guilavogui, who takes the worst touch, and it's so poor from Guilavogui. Such a heavy touch. It's straight into Juna Moraes. He dances around the keeper. It's a simple finish. And now he has got 2 goals. He hasn't got a hat-trick. It was Solomon who scored the other goal. So Will Pete will be absolutely delighted with that. And Juna Moraes has got the double. 3-0 Shakhtar Donetsk. Wolfsburg have fallen apart. And my prediction for this game was absolutely spot on. So I'm delighted.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to report anything, but Copenhagen have been keeping it in the corner for the 3 minutes, which they fully deserve to do. They've had a great game. They've been a fantastic team. So
it's been a good set of fixtures we've had. I know the boys have just gone live for their games now, so there's 2 streams on the trot right now. But it's been a good game, and it's one of those, isn't it? Realistically, where Wolfsburg had to go for it, and they've opened up, and there could be a chance here for a 4th goal. That's right, there could be another goal coming. Konoplyanka lays it off to Matavenko. It's a heavy touch, and, well, there's 5 players right now up for Shakhtar. They're not messing about here. They want more goals at the end. There's 2 minutes of additional time, and, well, quite frankly, why not? Get a few more goals at the end here.
That's it. game over. Copenhagen will go through, barring a miracle, to face Manchester United in the next round. I'm not going to give me comments on what I think will happen in that game, but I can't see this Copenhagen. But tonight they can celebrate because they were much the better team, and they have done a number on Istanbul Basaksehir, keeping their main men quiet while imposing their will on the game themselves. So good win for Copenhagen today.
Fair play to them. Good result. We've still got about a minute and a half left of this game. And Shakhtar, as I said, they've got 5 players forward. They want more goals in this. They think they might be able to get a 4th just before the game ends. But Wolfsburg have resigned to now just passing around the back just so they don't concede anymore, which just proves how bad they've been today. And it was deserved, I think, at the end of the day. Shakhtar have been really, really good. They've had a lot of opportunities, specifically in the first half, I said, with Marlos. A lot of really, really good chances that didn't go into the back of the net. And it's just proved decisive, hasn't it? They've got to push everybody forward. And when you push everybody forward, it leaves so much open space, which has been exploited. And Junior Moraes, with the 2 goals there at the end, as I said earlier, I thought he'd had a pretty poor game, but those 2 goals have really been a big boost for him. Because he looked big boost. He looked really dejected, to be honest, because he had a lot of good chances. And yeah, I'm looking now. The Wolfsburg manager is just sat and looked very dejected himself, pretty much what Moraes was earlier. And with 20 seconds left, he's going to be done and dusted.
Yeah,
it's a great game of football for them, and fair play. Fair play. And while there is a chance for the 4th goal, I think there's going to be a free kick given here for Shakhtar. No, the referee's playing it at the edge of the box right now. And surely here, the referee should blow his whistle. For any of you that are wanting to keep up to date with the Manchester United and Last Link game, as the referee blows his whistle for this one, it's full time. There is a link in the stream right now for the other games. So full time of our games that are live right now. Shakhtar Donetsk 3, Wolfsburg 0, 3 goals in the final 5 minutes of that game means that Shakhtar go through to the next round, 5-1 on aggregate. And for Kieran's game he was watching, FC Copenhagen 3, Istanbul Basaksehir 0, 3-1 on aggregate. Copenhagen are going to face Manchester United. Could it be a massacre?
Yes, it could very well be with the form that they've shown. So, but into Getafe will be fun.
It will be indeed. That's where we'll be going next, because currently live on the channel, as I said, link is in the description. You can join Kieran D and Rowan for the next set of fixtures that kick off at 8 p.m. UK time. It's Manchester United against Last Linz. They're 5-0 up currently on aggregate in that game. It could be a massacre in that one as well. 5-0, of course, on aggregate. We'll have to find out with that. And then the single-legged fixture between Inter Milan and Getafe. Rowan is covering that match. That kicks off in 9 minutes' time. The other games coming up, as you could see, which actually Kieran D has very nicely made kind of graphics for them as well. I will be covering Leverkusen and Rangers at 5:55 tomorrow, and Rowan will be covering the Sevilla versus Roma game. That's 5:55. Got the early kickoff again. Keep your eyes out for that. And then the late kickoff. You've got a late kickoff tomorrow, haven't you, Kieran?
I have. I've kept my eye out on it because I think there might be a turnaround. So I've gone with Basel and Frankfurt, mate.
Going to be a good game indeed. Who knows? As I said, I think if there was one potentially for a comeback, that could be the one. And then Kieran D has got Wolves versus Olympiacos 1-1 in that game, all square and all still to play for. So that is it for us. Thank you very much for joining the stream. Greatly appreciate it. It's been a good night of football. There's been a lot of goals tonight. 6 goals, 2 red cards, a bit of AR. What's not to love, isn't it, really? Links in the description. As I said, go and join Kieran D and Rowan for the next set of fixtures, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. See you later.